at the big desk.
See ya.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in. You get me today. Sorry, Sharif back tomorrow with the day off today, the extended long weekend. Hope he's enjoying a Tuesday. But yeah, let's get into a few things here that are moving around this afternoon as we head into the final couple hours of trading. I was just going over both the US dollar and some of the yields back to the upside in a pretty big way this afternoon, specifically 4.65 right now on the 30-year. That's the US dollar kind of chopping around here, 104.5. Still up on the day, but only just after being negative to start things off. Yeah, monster day today for Virgin Galactic. Back above $1 and then some, 21-ish, we'll call it, % off the highs. But I didn't see anything on space, but having quite the day back above $1. Good to see for Virgin. Apple holding 190 right now, hasn't really done much, kind of grinding on its way back to 190 all day, basically flat now on the session. But yeah, it's been all about these guys, Nvidia, QCOM, AMD, and Micron, just absolute monsters. We'll get to a few of those coming up here as you pick what we are about to discuss here this afternoon. That's the overall market there, a bit of a downtick as we head to 2 o'clock here, but overall, yeah, stocks to the upside in a big way on the back of semiconductor strength. So let's get into a few things that you decide. If you haven't seen the final hour of the midday show yet, remember to go check it out from 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. You make the choice. You decide what we talk about for the first 30 minutes of, or so, the first 30 minutes of the closing show, the afternoon here. GME was top of the list this morning. It will be top of the list. Pick number 1 for the afternoon here. We had a huge move after the close on Friday. If I zoom out here a little bit on this offering notice, 93 million coming through, 93 million for GME on the offering after the close Friday. We got this huge run up to 24 in the pre-market this morning. Tops out at 26, guys. 21.3% for GME today. It was a two-way street, however, for action.
So GameStop. 21 seems to be like the number today. Not only is 21 the exact percent, more or less the percentage that it's up right now, 21's also the level that it bounced off this morning. 21's the level that it bounced on during the aftermarket show, the market recap on Friday. So this is 21 right at the end of the market recap with Sean Adera. It held 21 even, it double bottom at 21. We talked about the roundy face, the upside, and now it's 21.21 a second ago. So yeah, fun times on GameStop. I did try buying the dip initially on this, but we got the rounded bottom eventually, took VWAP long, got a breakout above 24, gonna sneeze, hold it. But it's just, actually you saw Obi talk about this, where it was a clean trend reversal once it got back underneath that 26. So there's your big monster volume wick top. And the longs were fantastic, like every single one you could take, that like any setup pretty much was working. Then you had the big volume spike, followed by the big red candle wick through 26 even. Once that happened, you've been trend down. All that said, the VWAP break was opening range 22.5. It's right back bouncing off 22.5. I think if you can hold on to this, you have a chance at a second salvo on GameStop. And we talked about the whole notion of when a stock gets those massive runs up on any kind of a squeeze. It started in the single digits. The big push was later through 18, 19. It pulled back, finally made that bottom, lulled everybody to sleep, and then today was, I guess, the culmination of that lulling to sleep there in GME. Can it hold on to 22.5? That's the big story. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for this afternoon. AMC,
and you knew it was going.
We're not really going to talk about AMC specifically, but it did its best to follow GameStop and actually a little bit weaker. So it tried to break out. When GameStop fell, it fell. If GameStop loses 22.5, I think AMC short under $5 is going to be a hold all afternoon.
Okay. All right. Wow. We tried to ride with the apes for a minute there, and we did. We had 21.50 all the way up to 25.80 right there. So we took about $4.50. But then we just kept on trying to buy all of the dips, and none of them really worked. We tried again, and we tried again. And right now, though, I'm thinking it's getting ready to ramp up again, and I like this 2350 break right here. We haven't been able to get above it. Now you're finally, we could take a little piece now because we're finally breaking the 50-period moving average, but I'd rather just wait until we break this area here. So let's get that garbage out of here and see if we can get back up to the upside right now. The thing is, I mean, I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it. And it was all the way up to this high here with GME. So shout out to Kodak Black. I mean, we were a super gremlin today on GME, and we're going to try to get back into it at some point, breaking 2350. So that's my play to get back there. We just put Shopify on the board again, for those of you looking at that, and we're short Alibaba and long Palantir. So we'll go through the rundown. Next up, a name that we've had lots of fun with today, Tesla.
Your pick number 2 this afternoon, Tesla, almost actually was number 1, but comes out number 2 just by a couple for Tesla. Downside initially this morning, it was actually right from pre-market. We saw some selling coming in, reversing essentially all of that nice move back higher on Friday. So we're all the way back to that Thursday low out of the gate this morning for Tesla. This was actually out yesterday. But worth noting, researcher suggesting that Q2 deliveries for Tesla this year will be well below 2023 levels, continuing the trend here, possibly anyways. Downside, guys, for Tesla.
All right, downside for Tesla. Yeah, we were looking a little bit there.
A little weak.
Yeah, we got the Unity fix. So thumbs up to Fabian and to Ramin there. Everything is all good for me right now. But okay, so we had the long, then we had the short. The short was good. We're up on the name, but we kept on fighting it out. This is with Adara was trading this as well on the midday show. And then eventually it broke higher. And then we got out at 178 break, which was basically the high of the day. We always have trades like this where we get in and we get out. But the bigger trade was right off the open. When we had waited for 174 came in and we took it, man. We took the 173. We were very, very patient with it. It was one of like 3-4 ideas, GME and Tesla, 2 ideas here on the sticky note, and it was to buy the dips. So we did that. That's 173.50. That out right there is 176. So $2.50 that we tried to short, didn't work out. Now Tesla's kind of in no man's land, but hey, I still like the stock. I love this area of support that we're finding on the daily, and we found it again today, right at that same level. That's why we're still write it down every day, 173, 174. Get under the 50 period and we'll talk. But for right now, it's starting to get a little smiley face action. I like this bid here down at 172. We'll see if we can get it again tomorrow. I like Tesla down at those levels.
Yeah, love that support on Tesla. On my note, I actually had it written down for a short off 180 today on Tesla. I mean, I was pretty, I felt like the market was going to get us up there. Everything seemed pretty strong in the morning, so this stock opened up and just immediately dipped to 173. It did end up getting to 28. Even at this moment, it's like, yeah, we're going to get the push back into Friday's high of the 180 level, and then we'll look for a short up top. But the higher time frame, as Sean mentioned there, the 50 period's holding very nicely on Tesla. It's a higher low. If you look at the trend bottom that just got put in, it's essentially showing you the higher low, and the next step up would be either a test of 200 or 210. As long as it holds on to 170, it's got a great support down there. It was 73 today, but when you look at it over the 15-minute, there's been a couple of breakdowns, maybe 171.5 here, but that 73 has held firm once again. So I think all week long, as long as Tesla's off of that level, I think you want to respect it. And it's not just Tesla that's down today. Some other EV names under some pressure. Ford got its butt kicked today. They're down actually more than Tesla. Not that anyone cares about Ford, but that break broke some major support. So all week long, let's look at that 173 after it held again today. Seems like every single day it's testing that, but no 180 for myself. The good thing about having a key price level is sometimes it keeps you out of trouble, right? Because if I had been chasing this, let's find another short down here somewhere, I probably could have talked myself into shorting it on the way back up when it just never gave me the short that I wanted.
All right, let's go on to Amazon number 3 today. Again, your choice here for the first 20 minutes or so of the afternoon show. Make sure you get your votes in. Last hour of the midday show determines what the guys get to look at here in the first bit of the afternoon show. If you want something analyzed, make sure you get your vote in every single day. Amazon number 3, trying to get back to session highs currently. I mean, there wasn't anything significant as far as catalysts today for Amazon. A couple of positive notes from analysts today, but nice day here, almost 0.5%. I guess it is actually 0.5% right now. As I mentioned, trying to get back to day highs here, guys, for Amazon.
Amazon, what a reversal.
I don't know.
For Amazon, because that was in the group of, hey, the things that are looking bad this morning and potentially losing it all. Like Amazon was at the 180 level here. Quickly, let's go to the daily chart here. Like it's underneath the 50 period, so kind of trending back in off of that double top at 52-week highs. But there it is. It holds the 180 level. Now you have a chance for an afternoon break. I mean, 182 looks all juicy and all that good stuff, but if you look to Friday, it's like 182.5 that this needs to get through. So if we start taking out highs, I don't know, get the Frank Pamp or whatever you're supposed to call it, or Frank Pump, or the power hour pump, whatever you want to call it. 182.5 on Amazon looks pretty juicy. Forget about a 180 long. That's all gone now. You got to be looking for the break of the top here on Amazon. So super strong recovery. I'm not a huge fan of taking breakouts into overhead resistance. So I think you got to go dip buy hunting in Amazon. Maybe you get a VWAP into 181. Maybe it's like a 181.30. But if we get any consolidations higher, stair step it up, buy dips into that 182.5 on AMZN just quickly, because I'm only in one position. And a firm looks like it wants to take out 29.5. Been in a firm at VWAP like a couple of times in here thinking it was going to break down, then lost at the exact moment that I needed to be sitting back down to get back in. I did not. Then short a firm, got another stop, jumped right back in this time to the low of the day. But now I'm giving it to 29.5. So a firm is down 1.9%. I was just talking Amazon, but I'll let you come back in there. And a firm, if it breaks 29.50, I'm out. Looking for this. I just want to be short if we hold underneath Thursday's low on a firm. So I've been taking some shots at it, but this out will be at 29.5. Don't mind jumping back into it if we get a chance. But that's a name adjacent to retail that is not recovering the same way Amazon is.
I just tweeted this out. This is hilarious. Either you're just talking about it. We're supposed to talk about Amazon, and again, I will talk about it. We did hit Amazon, but just on that same note, it's sort of an affirm and a new sort of technology. With Shopify, of course, isn't a brand new technology, but in that vein, buy. There's the high of the day. So sometimes we get bad wicks, but we've just been buying Shopify, and look at this one. We just put this on just minutes ago, down here at 34. It's all the, whoa, wow, that made a move, man. It's all the way back to the 50-period moving average. So we got to probably think about taking something out here. So let's put an offer just a bit higher on Shopify. Good trade back up to the 200 period as that's starting to work. All right, just quickly on Amazon. So this worked until it didn't. We loved this trade early. It was weaker than the market. It battled all the way back up. Then the move came back into 179.60. That was fantastic. We got stopped out right there. We brought it back, and eventually stopped out. So I feel pretty good about this, that we didn't have to hold it all the way to the top. But you know what's happened a couple times here today? And I think it was on GME as well. And then there's another stock. These dark pools, that whatever was going on like between 8 and 808, something like that, that again is the exact high for Amazon there. So GME was something that we had talked about earlier too, and it was kind of like right here, although not the exact highs, but it's still that 8 to 808 area that got it up to like 2570, and that's pretty much the high. I mean, 2610s. Anyways, that's just a little bit of an interesting thing there. And then, of course, look what just happened right here. This is how you have to sort of, what's up, John? This is where you sort of have to hold out hope that your levels hold. And this dropped into VWAP. So, of course, we're just hanging around saying, what's up with Palantir down there? So, all right, we're still short Alibaba. But now, for the name, Brendan, that we've all been waiting for. It's a little bit of an undercover name. You may have not heard it before.
I've never heard of it.
It's brand new to date. Ramin, give me this. Never been heard before. on day trading shows, brought to you by Trader TV Live. Let's go discuss something that I hope is in everyone's portfolio, and that is Nvidia.
It's, well, yeah. Similar Scientific, first of all. SMLR just popping up in front of me. I mean, I was going to go another way with that, but it's fine. They announced a Bitcoin treasury strategy. So SMLR moving around here as well. But yeah, let's talk about boring old, plain old Nvidia. To the tune of 7% to the upside today. I mean, this was part of the reason Elon's Grok and XAI going to build a supercomputer that will be apparently run by Nvidia chips along with everyone else in the world until they build their own at this point. But yeah, another day, guys, more extension here of that rally that kicked off last week.
Yeah, something doesn't smell right with that SMLR there. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from that bad boy. 7% and it's pulled back a point. That's Nvidia's day today. It's just an absolute rocket ship. I saw someone in the chat make the point that by the time they get to the split, it's going to be back at $1,000 again, which, I mean, obviously that's not going to be true, but
well, yeah,
feels
that could be true. Why not?
Oh, because I mean, it can't go 10. It's not going to go 10x.
Oh, after the split.
No, they didn't mean.
Oh, it's pulling. I thought it could pull back tomorrow.
I think they were joking around that it would be another 10 times.
Ah.
I mean, the split's literally on the 10th, so,
yeah,
it's only a couple of weeks.
Maybe 1,700?
1,250, 3,450. I don't know. You start picking numbers with this stock, and they always seem unreasonable. But look, it's a rocket ship to the upside. I was in a couple of other names today, so we'll just go over what's happening here. And it did give up. I don't want to say it gave up the ghost, but if you look at what happened at 1150 and this trend up, it was the biggest sell candle of the day, and it's putting in a lower high as the market is. So I don't wonder if we're not on the back end of this afternoon. Like, it feels like it's made a bit of a top on Nvidia, and when that's happened, you got to be patient for where the dip can be because it's been longs in the afternoon. The morning resistance was about 11.25, 11.20 or so. That also happens to be VWAP. So I think that could be the level, about 11.20 to 11.25 for any kind of a dip on Nvidia. I was in ARM and I didn't even let that one go far enough. ARM was a 120 break. We talked about this level last week. So it's also up 7%. A lot of sympathy plays. I mean, you can pick your poison. AMD, and it got dragged up as well. But I was out of this one way too early. Should have held it for that 125. I think this has also found the other side. The trend is broken. It looks like a short unless it gets back above 124. But I heard something about.
Yeah, so right now I'm in this potentially the largest hack that I've ever heard of. Ticketmaster, 560 million accounts apparently hacked or something like that. So I'm going to go short Live Nation right now. Let's just see what happens. I mean, every single person has a Ticketmaster account, right? So I heard 530 million or 560 million accounts.
That's password.
We'll confirm that. Just letting you know what I'm hearing. I'm now short Live Nation into this move. So here it goes right now. Clip it or not, but there's LYV to the downside right now for Live Nation. We're short a little bit. Okay. 560 million users apparently is what we're hearing. So there we go, man. We're in it right now. Let's see what winds up happening. But we'll just go back to Brendo. But that's the story that I'm hearing right now. Live Nation, which is Ticketmaster, heading to the downside for a minute. So we'll watch out for this, see if that has any effect on Live Nation as it's going down to the downside here.
Yeah, there is it looks like they've posted a breakdown of this. I want to read this because I just bought tickets on Ticketmaster, so that could be a bit of a problem. Maybe my Visa is in your account now as well at this point. Who knows? All right, AMD, last one here, guys, on the list. We'll get through the, what is it, 5th in your choice. Again, remember, From 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. every single day. Make sure you get your votes in during the midday show. You determine what the guys look at during the first part of the afternoon show here. 3.6%. I mean, a lot of this coming on the back of the strength in Nvidia today, but 172 trying to hold here, guys, for support on AMD.
All right.
I feel like not saying anything until you let us know what are you going to see, Brendan? Like, you can't leave us hanging like that. I'm just curious. Let me know, Brendan.
Yeah, don't say anything, Neil, until you find out. All right, so right now we have AMD right now trying to go down to the downside. Look, we tried AMD a couple times. We were up on it early and then down on it late. I mean, we've tried these moves before in the past. Thankfully, look, it's never going to end well when it keeps going to the upside and I can't find outs. But we just basically shorted it into the day's high. We did make a move down. I thought potentially we were breaking back down below 172. That's where we got in trouble. So we were out, averaged it in all the way back into 50s. That was actually working for a minute. And then all of a sudden, up to 173.50, and then eventually we got out of the way. So as this name continues to go absolutely ape, again, it was on here for dip buys into 166. And silly me, we missed the 166 again. Same exact thing that we missed on Friday with the 160. So we had it there, we didn't have it, we had it, we didn't have it. At the end of the day, I think it was an easy name to trade, but you had to withstand this. It's the same thing. Like, dip down, you get scared, you don't take it. I didn't notice this one, so that's my fault today. But I really like AMD. This is always going to be on my radar. Always.
Always. Okay, fine. I'll say. Look, sometimes the trade you're the happiest about doesn't always have to be a good one. It can be one that you got away from. Because like AMD, it did a dip into 165. We kind of. It is what it is. 165 was pretty clean. Afternoon support levels, missed that, but it was relatively weak. And so I shorted under VWAP, like a failed break of the high, short underneath resistance at VWAP. It was looking good. I reloaded it, and it's like, no, it's back above VWAP. Let's just get out of that sucker. And it was a good decision to get away from it because now it's super strong. That said, 173 had been previous resistance going back to that massive wick on Thursday. You're back underneath. It feels like you've had a bit of a trend break. So underneath 173, this looks like a short to me on AMD. So pretty weak name overall. Weak name overall on Thursday that reversed the entire move, but it's still back underneath that 173 level. If we bounce off VWAP, great, that's 71. If we break out above 173 again, I'll probably like longs if it's back up here. But I feel like the market's going back in the other direction, at least at this particular point. So AMD might be pulling back into VWAP as we speak. I said ARM is kind of turned around, and it looks like it's a bit trend down, lower highs, lower lows since it made the top at 126. But AMD's got a more clearly defined resistance level at that 173. So it's been an absolute rocket ship for a lot of these chip names. Just feels like they're giving up the ghost a little bit. I wanted to mention Apple breaking 190 here. Apple's now red on the day. Like, Apple was a decent, look, it was a good dip buy if you had the right levels. That 191 held, then it held the previous day's tops. But this is now one of the weakest names out there. 190 just got taken out. I think it's a short back into 190. And if the market doesn't hold on to green, Apple unlikely to. I think that goes without saying.
All right, yeah, we've done well to get out of. We've done well to get out of Apple today. Apple's starting to move down and around a little bit here. Apple actually, as Neil just mentioned, heading a lot lower right now. All right, I just want to talk about my newest position. We're still in Shopify. Shopify is a pretty good banger, man, 30 cents in the money. Alibaba is trying to come back in again. Why don't we just take some more out on the downside? I still think there's more room to go for Alibaba, but we'll bid 40, see if we can get something. Look, so Live Nation right here. You could still get this position right now if you want it. It's not like it's that great here. It has battled all the way back. So we'll have to wait to see what happens now with LYV. But that's on that hack. So we'll get some more details on that, see if that comes through. Just a shot in the dark. We'll get out if it breaks 96. I mean, pretty simple stuff. I mean, that low right now is 80. We'll sit there and see if we can get a piece out at 80 or so. But if you want to take the bid now, news trades are kind of tough to trade, obviously, because you don't know the story and exactly what the details are, and was it an old story that you're just hearing about it? What exactly does it mean? But the one thing that I know is I love my wife more and more every day because I just messaged her that and she goes, "Oh no, my Taylor tickets."
Oh no,
So, you know, those were
Damn.
obviously in our account before. So hopefully they'll be back in there. They're only going for $3,000 here in Toronto.
Oh, that's what Brendan's.
And there's only 5 shows.
Well, well. Now we know what Brendan's going to see. Of course, he's going to see. I mean, I should have. That's on me. I'll also have to fail on myself for not realizing that Brendan was going to do. You know what? Okay, I just noticed that when we're on this shot, the fail doesn't go in the middle like it's supposed to. It goes in the middle of the screen, which is on you.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. It's kind of the middle.
I don't know. Anyways, we'll put the fail on myself, which was what I was intending to do there, for not realizing that Brendan was going to see. What is that? Oh, let me see.
Don't worry, Neil.
Why don't I get to know what? Okay, I see you got some inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Jokes and stuff with
Exactly.
Ram.
May or may not be love letters, stuff like that.
That was my one Ramin Ram.
Keep it at
for
that.
today.
We'll keep it at that.
Any news on Barnes and Noble?
Yes, Barnes and Nobles is going crazy. I just saw that BNED.
Yeah.
So it was up to 66 cents.
I don't
and
hear anything.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just starting to go. There it goes, BNED. So we'll find out if there is news about it. But for right now, it is going to the upside now, 70 cents, 80 cents, and trying to continue. That's 80 right there. So I would say if you are a Barnes and Noble enthusiast, then you may know more about the stock. But 80 cents looks to me like a pretty important level. It stopped there a couple days ago. That's on the 22nd. That was the support. And then it looks to be somewhat like resistance there, some top wicks. But nice move today. And again, it just seems like some of these names, like a GameStop today, which is why we wrote down 22, they're coming into levels where there's clearly support. So like this 50 to 53 level seems to be pretty good there for BNED. So good move there. Again, if we hear something more, then we will. So we talked about closing remarks and whatnot in DJT. This has been really not in the trial, not in the stock, but you're going to the upside right now pretty nicely, almost 8%, looking really good this morning. So not a bad little look on the 20-minute chart straight to the upside. And then again, I'm bringing this up because this $55, $56 level, we've been here before. We're not too far away from that right now. So I would say just watch out 55, 56 area for DJT. You could possibly get some selling. And I'm just reminded of all this because of basically what happened with GME again. You're going to be where we are looking for levels to do stuff on. Oh, we just got into GME. Okay.
Where is GameStop?
Speak of the devil. There it is right here. We are now back in. So this was the level that we wanted, and we just got taken in right there at the top. So maybe we are, shout out to that movie. I really liked it, Dumb Money. But did I just buy the tops here? Let's wait to see. This was a level that I liked. We said, let's get that garbage out of here. We were talking about, possibly buying it at the 50-period moving average. We didn't do that. So right now, GME in my account here, you can see it. First of all, let's go Alibaba to the downside, but it's GME right now trying to go. Why not? Let's offer, we have a decent amount of shares. Let's offer something at around 75, and we'll take 20 cents. I know it's not a heck of a lot, and then we'll see if we can get above 24, and then we'll try to ride from there because you're still running into VWAP, and you see this little level here. This is where we lost last time defending VWAP, and it was about 50 cents to the downside, VWAP to the 200. So now let's see if we can get it the other way and then break higher. If we could get $1 on this, like that's not a bad spot. But we've been sitting here for a lot of time when GME's done this in the afternoon. There is potential for this to go this afternoon. So that's something to wait for, and we're going to do that now. So there goes GME. Let's see if we can get it back in. We mentioned this would be the level that we're going to be in on. And where are we going to get out? My plan, okay, we just got that 75. The plan was always to wait for this break, but the way I saw that 50 period go, and if we don't actually go here, what about something like this? 22, well, it's basically the same thing. All right, let's ride 22.50. Might as well try that, so that's what we'll go for. And then, by the way, Ali damn Baba. We out of that one. This was a fantastic trade. I know Neil was trading into the long side, and this was just the same thing, basically. Up to 81, back down to 80, make 80 cents the hard way maybe on a stock like Baba, but it's coming right back into these levels. So look at the market fading out right now. We just got more into Palantir.
Palantir?
That's down at 21. So, all right, this
That's a big
name.
level. That's been a big level. For
Yeah, I'm not sure I like this. Like if I had sort of seen this maybe a little more aggressively there instead of looking at GME, we did fade underneath VWAP, so that's a problem. We're gonna not let 95 break, even though these wicks go down to 90. We can maybe wait for 90s to break, maybe 90s on Palantir, but this is not looking good. Let's just get out of this if it breaks too much lower. We're long Palantir now at 98, so watch out for this one.
So I love the look on Bob. Bob at 80 to 81 to 81 back, hopefully not back to 80 because in the long term, I'm always betting for Bob to go long.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we want
I
that
don't want it to go all the way back.
Way higher.
But Patient Trading in the chat just said, do you guys take nootropics to trade? I don't take any of that brain stuff. It's like it looks like it's like one of those like brain pills or whatever.
I do the opposite of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't really.
I
Eat healthy,
burn.
sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
I was trying to be happy.
Kill brain cells. Don't get enough sleep. All the opposite stuff. So I think I should.
As long as
do
your
that.
sleep is consistent.
I think I should do some more stuff.
Some people don't need 8 hours of sleep.
8 hours.
Get 4 cycles in. My biggest thing was I used
like I was in a coma
to sleep 4 to 5 hours. I was really bad with it and when I've made the kind of shift where the Whoop, get a little more efficient with it. Now I tend to pretty easily get like 6 quality. I think that's more important, but I don't try any of that other stuff. Naresh saying 10% haircut is due in AI. They report this week. I'm assuming you mean C. Okay, maybe you meant AI in general.
I think you mean C3,
Yeah,
maybe?
if you mean C3 AI, they report this week on Thursday. We'll double check that one. I know C3 AI sometime this week, but 10% haircut. I believe any haircut possible for these guys because they've not been participating in a lot of the exuberance. Like look at the flat bottom break incoming here on C3 AI. If it breaks 23.5, $20 is support. That's 15% from where it is where the support level is on C3i. So if that's what you meant, then I don't necessarily disagree with you. A lot of times, like I want things to squeeze. I kind of want this to flat bottom break for the trade because I think this is a weak name. When everything else is going up, oh no, I might have missed a chance at Intel, which I'll get to in a second. It's not that I want revenge on the stock.
You do.
But I didn't take my reversal long. I spent like all morning saying, I'll reverse long if it goes past this price. Didn't do it. But Affirm just hit the bottom again. 3 times it's tested 29.25. And 3 times it's bounced. If it finally breaks, I think you can trend down into 29, but I want to get back in, it might be a little bit late. That 31 level where I was short this morning, I said I would reverse if it broke out above 31.10. I didn't. It was a pretty good scalp trade for another 25, 30 pennies. I didn't have it. Kind of got up from my desk at the end of the morning show and missed any chance to get the consolidation top. But it's underneath 31 again, and I'm going to be shorting pops into VWAP there. You mentioned GameStop was going. My first thought was if AMC doesn't go with it, I'm shorting 5 on AMC. AMC didn't have any offering for the news. It's following the coattails. They didn't have a great opening weekend for what's it called again?
You mentioned that. What was it?
It's Furiosa, the Mad Max prequel. It's a prequel, right? Yeah, it's a prequel for Mad Max. Didn't do well, like 31 million on Memorial Day.
Oh gosh.
Come on, man. 31 million on Memorial Day is really, really bad, obviously. So it's not great for the movie going. And if AMD is going to go to the downside, well, sorry, if GME does give up at VWAP here, which it just kind of pull back, I'd rather short AMC instead of GME. So I'm going to do that at the 5 level. Give it to like 505 here on AMC. We have to pay for locates here at Real Trading, but I feel like it was 1/8 of 1 cent per share on both of these two stocks. It was really, really cheap to short them both. And I'm just playing it as like if GameStop's not breaking out, then I'm gonna take short into 505 here on, I almost said advanced micro, whatever. I don't know why I'm always saying AMD instead of AMC. So if you hear me say AMD and my position board says AMC, there's a 99% chance I'm talking about AMC. It's just we trade AMD a heck of a lot more than AMC. Let's be real. Like every single day we're looking at AMD. AMC like once every couple of months we'll look at it for a few days in a row. Speaking of which, Nvidia just gave up 1130, so I'm going to guess AMD's actually going down right now. Why did that go to NZ? I have no idea. I still want that feature where if I don't have entitlements to the market, why, when I hit enter, is it bothering to call it up there? Yeah, AMD's at VWAP, so that is heading lower, but the new position for me was in AMC. And IK, please, thoughts on Lulu for earnings? Yeah, I'll get into Lulu at the end of the year. So Lululemon, now underneath, Lululemon at $293, let's start it that way, at fresh lows. When this daily chart loads up, you'll see that $280 is, I'm pretty sure 280 I want to say on the daily, is going to be the next support level it has. Sometimes you just got to let things taper out. Like, I do think there will be a bottom. Even at these prices, its PE is actually not even that great. So you just got to wait for it to make a bottom. I'm not guessing that it's going to be next earnings. I think there's signs that the consumer could have things turn around despite some of the doom and gloom. But if it holds 280, great. Maybe that's a load zone. I'm more thinking back half of the year if I'm making a long-term play because the trend isn't even broken on this. Like, let a stock make a roundy face. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Let it do a smiley face. Like, look at Alibaba. Like, how long have I liked Alibaba? A long time. That's the answer to the question. But there's a difference between letting it make a bottom. There's your rounded bottom. There's it breaking back out. I know it's right back into 80, but at least it showed you buyers and showed you strength. Lulu's got none of that, right? Like, Target made a bottom. You know, you could, no, it did.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. Yeah.
Oh, you know, Target made a bottom. As the market's going down here, obviously AMC doesn't care that much about it, but I wanted to quickly show you because I wanted to finish the thought here. Target made a bottom recently when it had that, what do you want to call it? All the boycotts and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then you let it make a bottom, double bottom, higher lows, and then it broke out. Who cares if you had it at 105 on the way down? All you needed to do was have it after it broke back out of that low. Just wait for it. It just made another one at the 200 period moving average, but allow something trending down to just break out of the low. And even if you got it late, you could have it 30% late and you still made 25, 30%. That's fine. I'd rather do that than just continuously catch a falling knife, which, you know, if you're a value investor, you can do all your metrics and all that good stuff. So AMC, maybe you should be scalping some out here. This entire range the last half an hour is like 15 cents. So I should probably respect that.
All right, so GME is going to the downside, by the way. We tried to hold on to this, guys. And we're going to get back into it, but we did take the L on that last piece there on GME. As there it goes up. We tried again right here. It did break through that bottom. Let's give it one more shot.
I think I have a
Bitcoin tanking right now. 67.4. I will call it up to show you guys, but here you go. IBIT right now, as I don't have the actual Bitcoin chart up right now, but there it is. IBIT, nice downside move again. 38.40 Bitcoin going downside southbound. I'm still waiting to hear anything. If we do hear anything, especially about ETH or anything like that, because we are looking for some kind of, you know, reasons to why this may be happening. We just got in. I actually, again, I have to do a better job of like making sure I don't have orders just sitting around here. I got to cancel my Babas again. We got in and out. So that's what I said when Neil. He said, oh, what's the matter? I was like, uh-oh. AMD just came in and I didn't realize we were bidding in front of VWAP there. So we got in and then boom, it took it to the upside. Then we just made sure we put the same stop there so it would be a flat trade. And there it goes, breaking through VWAP. So right now, we've got to let this settle down just a little bit more than what we have so far. Let's double check in on Nvidia. Yeah, so downside now, but still up 6. But trying to come back in is Nvidia. And we'd sort of sniffed out some of this short a long time ago. We had gotten out of, Palantir we just got out of now. No real problems there. We got out of Alibaba. We have one more fill to go here, and if this breaks, we'll get out of Shopify. Not going to reload that anymore. Tesla's probably, yeah. I was hoping that we would be more closer to VWAP. And then we've already seen Apple really hit the road
and
here
don't you
today.
come back no
yeah,
more.
like they're not coming back anytime.
All right, Fistbump, I appreciate you letting me get that Snickers in.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
I just asked Yanni or someone to go get me like a Snickers from the convenience store because I couldn't eat. Like half of our salad was actually not salad today. It was like literally spaghetti on top of our salad. I'm like, I'm not eating spaghetti on top of the salad, so I didn't eat enough food. I'm got a little hangry there, so thank you, Snickers. It's even like this one. You know the one you get like the 2? What do they call it? Fun size or whatever the heck they call it?
That's not fun. Fun size would be the smaller.
I guess it's not big enough. Whatever.
That's jumbo size.
But they break it into 2 instead of like one Snickers. So
oh, like a Kit Kat.
It's kind of like except it's like too big.
Except for it's not a Kit Kat. Yeah.
So that's a little Snickers out. I love Snickers, Mr. Big, O. Henry, like old school, man.
I like old school. I like Mars more than Snickers, but I like Snickers.
Really?
Yeah, I still like the peanuts, but I like
all
the
about
caramel goodness of
All about
Mars.
that. So I don't know what's
The
going on.
smoothness.
That market dump that just happened. Again, I didn't hear anything. You mentioned that crypto was headed to the downside. But if you look at, like I'm looking at, I always track IBIT, right? It just made, okay, we'll let it load up. The biggest volume candle break of the low. A lot of times when it does a big volume candle like this, if it regains the previous low, you get like a snap trade back up. Like that's what I'd be looking for first, but it doesn't seem to want to hold on. So it needs to get back up above like 38.45 is what it looks like to me. AMC, the inside range here, $5 to $4.90. I just scalped some out. If it breaks $4.90, I'm going to get on the bid at $4.80 and then go from there. Apple, we can pretty much stick an absolute fork in $190 short, at least for now. I was on the offer trying to get it. Should have just taken wherever it was at. It's bouncing off 189, so a bit of a temporary bottom trying to be put in here on Apple. Was there a bond auction? I didn't see. I just saw their Gail Beck in the chat saying bond auction. I didn't see a bond auction for two. I mean, that's a random time anyways.
There ain't no bond auction.
Not 230.
Well, there might be.
No, but the big thing that I noticed when we had that last move down was the hammer candle or the big wick in BTC, and then a bunch of other things falling. I'd look at a strong stock to see if it was not a dip to buy. Like AMD makes sense here off VWAP. Like 170.5, it's holding 171. I might look for a long off 170 here in advanced micro devices. I don't know why I said the whole thing. Sometimes it's just more fun. You know when you like a stock, like I just want to like, or you know when your kid's in trouble and you'll give them the full name? I find sometimes, I'll do it, it's the other way around for a stock for me. If I like the stock, sometimes I'll just want to call it advanced micro devices. If I'm liking it for the long side of the trade. Kind of like when my daughter's in trouble, you throw the middle name in there just to let her know you're being more serious. It's actually very effective, by the way, because I don't have to raise my voice.
Yeah.
Just throw the middle name in. She knows what's up. You done something wrong, and we got to keep.
Well, my
it real.
kid's done something wrong all the time, so I just.
Well, I mean that's.
I'm like, yo, stop doing that. And then they don't do it. Oh, so some guy got back to me on Kijiji. What's up, Bruce? Hope you're doing well. I'm trying to buy more pucks. So my daughter shot 900 pucks last week in the backyard. Yeah, she's an absolute, she's setting records. Like this girl is insane. So I'm gonna buy some more. 50 pucks, $50. If anybody's in the GTA wants to sell me some pucks, you know?
I was gonna ask you how much you have to pay for them used.
About $1 a puck.
I'm sorry, I was eating this.
Yeah, you know, it's like an oyster, you know?
A buck a shuck.
You know, buck a shuck,
Yep.
buck a puck.
Although
I'm trying to negotiate, you know what I mean? Like, we could start around $35 for 50, and then we'll start to negotiate up. I'll offer cash, I'll offer Bitcoin, and we'll figure it all out.
I kind of feel like in Canada, that's like the one used thing that
No,
you're
it's
not getting great. You wouldn't get
Yeah,
great
there's
deals
not that
on.
much available.
No, but it's not like other. It's not like other. I almost said other crap, but like other sports stuff, you get used and it's like
Yeah.
it's great. All my daughter's baseball gear is used. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that's what's
But
up.
yeah, Canada,
baseball
everybody.
tonight. Hey, Ty, is it raining outside still?
I hope not.
Spitting. Light sprinkle.
That'll work as long as the diamond's okay. I don't care.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sprinkle donuts, says Adara. Oh, man. Okay, what are we doing? All right. Oh, new position alert. And it might not be for that long. I thought this market could bounce. I don't know. So we just went over and I said, you know what? We haven't traded Meta in a while. We're trading off support and resistance. I mean, it has held, okay. It has held 475 all day, except for the very open, and I'm not going to mess, even with that bottom candle. If we break, well, now that I see where that candle is, maybe we could go just a little bit lower than that. So why not we just put our stop now? This might not work, by the way. I mean, heck, most trades might not work if you're going against the trend. But for right now, let's just see if we are lucky enough to catch this falling knife with Meta all the way to the downside. So we did. The reason why we're in this again is we saw a nice little bump back up. It got faded in here. It made that move down into 475.30.
Lucy.
Then it went all the way back. And Lucy?
Lucy Downholt.
Lucy Downholt. Okay.
So
we'll find out
direct
about
offering.
That. Ooh.
2.5 million registered direct offering. for Lucy here from 63, halted down at 49 cents, indicating a 47.5. Trade with stops. We say this every single time. Like if you were long this, I can give you all kinds of reasons why nothing really that bad being long off the 57 level, maybe even off of VWAP. But if you don't have stops in situations like this, like it just gets so ugly so fast. Then you're caught in down halt after an offering. It'll open up in 5 or 10 minutes. It's not a news-based, even though there was news. It's just a volatility halt. So I'd be looking to short this one back at key levels, maybe like 57, or maybe just the 50 level if it opens up down here. Naresh saying, DJT, watch out.
Watch out
Trial
now.
came. It just ended now? Okay, it's a triple top at 50 on DJT. I'm not chasing. I can't be long this thing through 50.
I don't understand, like, okay, like if the trial ends and he's like guilty, is that good? If he's not guilty, like I don't know about that stock. I don't know how it's going to affect the stock, you know? I mean, I get, no matter what, he's running for president, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why you hold the stock.
I forget the comedian, but it was just, I saw a clip on YouTube and they were just like, no matter what, can you just have one debate where he comes out and they do like the stone, like they break the glass. And he comes out to like wrestling music.
I mean, if any one of those guys gets stone cold stunned, I think we need brand new. I don't think either one of them is getting up from that. You know what I mean? I mean, you're that you fall down the stairs and you've broken your hip. I mean, in 2 seconds. I'm just saying this from experience. Like everyone that I know, they're both 70 years old.
Yes.
I mean, when I'm 70 years old, I'll probably break a couple of hips. All right, here we go.
You're not breaking any hips.
You get 2 hips, right?
You're not breaking your hip.
This Ramin is too much, man. Okay.
I just got stopped out of AMD here. We're still falling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, Meta just got going. We were in the money on Meta, but with the spread, this is going to be a problem. So we're going to give it a little bit more room here on Meta. I mean, the market is heading to the downside. So, and we don't joke about that Lucy stuff, but that is what winds up happening, man. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, you just got to be careful.
You got to be careful with it. We are going to be having, we do have Frank on, so that's going to be great. Good thing he's coming through after. I hope Frank had a great Memorial Day, of course, there. So that would be really great to do that. Oh, how convenient. It's Jays White Sox again. We won yesterday, didn't we?
You better believe it.
Yeah, you better believe it. I don't believe it anytime someone tells me the Jays won. What do you mean, better believe it? Oh, man. Okay. Tale of two cities, although very similar fate currently in MLB.
Chicago has a nicer downtown area. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous in Chicago. I'll take it. I would take their downtown over Toronto.
Okay. Fair enough. Shout out to Paul Konerko. All right, here we go. Now Meta is going back up to the upside. Let's go over to the desk with Brendan.
That's old school.
Chicago definitely takes it.
Oh, yeah.
Frank?
Appreciate it. I'll take anything right now. So downtown, I don't spend a lot of time in the downtown area, but
where are you guys located?
I still haven't been to Toronto. The only time I was ever in Toronto was I was like 13 for a hockey tournament. We went to the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's in Toronto, right?
It is, yeah, definitely. Down on Front Street. You got to come visit. Come visit. We'll show you all the things you need to see. Not the waterfront, though. It's kind of boring. Let's talk about a few things here because, I mean, as you mentioned, there's a few things coming later in the week that are going to matter. But for the time being, it just seems like these Fed speakers can't get out of their own way and can't stop themselves from saying things that I don't know if they've been told to say this, but I mean, Kashkari comes out today and sounds very hawkish once again, saying, you know, they'll stay on hold for a longer period if need be. I mean, that comes on the back of, and you and I talked about this, multiple data points suggesting that we're finally moving in the right direction. Markets at all-time highs, or you know, stones throw away from all-time highs here. What do we make of all of this?
Yeah, it seems like we're getting a lot of honestly really interesting swings back and forth on what I would maybe deem. I haven't looked at the volume numbers in every asset class here today, but it seems to be low volume, big swings on essentially nothing because I mean, you're going to see some really meaningful swings back and forth come Friday throughout the next 2 weeks. We'll talk about that in a second. But the reason that I point this out is because on Thursday of last week, we jumped on, We talk about now the most important number out there, which is, I believe, I can't even remember it, the services PMI, whatever it was, causes stocks to really roll over on Thursday afternoon. And then Friday, we bounce all the way back pretty much to all-time highs, to your point, Brendan. And I keep checking interest rate markets, thinking that, okay, well, they must be pricing in more of these cuts, right? And they're actually pricing them out as the stock market rebounded to highs at the end of last week and traded higher this morning. And here you have, that SPX, which is very close to its all-time highs. Even though on Thursday, it looked like, okay, this number comes in hot, they're going to price out these cuts, and the stock market's going to eat it, bounces back, and we're still looking at now a more than 20% chance of no cuts this year. And I believe that's the highest that I've come on here and shown. Maybe we got a 22% on some random day after a particularly hawkish number, but we're right there at highs for the last several years in terms of treasury yields, however you want to measure interest rate markets. And now you're looking at a 20% chance or more, depending on when you're looking at it, because interest rates have really bounced back here midday after some of the Fed speakers here this morning. I mean, interest rates were moving lower this morning in complete reversal in the same time that stocks reversed from trading higher to lower. So you're seeing a little bit of correlation, Brendan, but nothing super meaningful. And I don't think you're going to get anything meaningful in terms of like a big sustained move until, yes, the GDP on Thursday, but more importantly, the PCE on Friday, and then next week is going to be crazy. But what do you take from this GDP that's expected at 1.3%? Last time GDP came in lower than expected. If you're looking at this chart, this would be the lowest GDP quarterly growth rate that we would have gotten since the early part of 2022. An interesting number here in that if it comes in hotter than 1.3%, you might read that as hawkish, a reason for interest rates to stay where they're at 5.5%. But it's one of those that doesn't that mean the economy is good? So I don't know how to read this either way, because if it comes in under 1.3% or even at 1.3%, Brendan, that means that the U.S. economy is maybe moving away from the high growth we've seen for the last several quarters. So this might end up being a nothing number, a good scalp either direction if you're playing the reversal off of the initial move. But I have no clue with that number. It'll be much more telling once we get to inflation. But what say you on this GDP for Thursday morning?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, going back to, I think it was the one that came in 2 prints ago, meaning I think it was still a preliminary number. It was 3+%. And that was the one you heard all the commentary about, the economy is still booming, lots of growth, everything's fine. What does the Fed have to get involved with? But now we're talking about, 2 full percentage points down from that. So obviously it's slowed significantly, since that 4 print, since the 3 print. So yeah, I mean, things are obviously slowing as far as economic growth is concerned. I was just double checking. It is still a preliminary number, this not that matters, this GDP print coming up on Thursday, but the final one is typically the one you get the major market move behind.
Yeah, the way that they do it in the US, and I'm sure it's similar process elsewhere, is it's a quarterly number that they revise every month of the quarter. And so, yes, the final quarterly number I think will be next month, will be June. But you never know, out of nowhere, these numbers, the preliminary, the second estimate, I think this is technically maybe the second estimate. Last month was the preliminary one that came in much under expectations. Either way, it still can surprise to one direction. But yes, you're absolutely right. Technically, the final quarterly growth rate number will come, I believe, next month. But it'll be an interesting number to dissect, especially after the stock market has picked a direction one way or the other. Because again, it's not as straightforward as that inflation data. If the inflation data that we get on Friday comes in higher than expected, interest rates are probably going to rise, and the stock market has been pretty negatively correlated to interest rates as far as the last couple of weeks go, as far as today goes, for sure. And so that one will be more straightforward on Friday. Whereas, yeah, you're exactly right that the GDP has been a weird one, because it's like, if it's strong, then maybe, that's something that the Fed can lean up against and not cutting rates. But also that is good for the economy. That means the economy is doing well. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, the big number will be PCE coming in on Friday morning. Core PCE has pretty much plateaued here around 2.8 to 3%. They're expecting another 2.8%. I'm pretty sure that's what we've printed the last 2 months here in terms of core PCE. This is one that if we get a 2.7 or a 2.6 under that expectation, you might see them start to price in some more cuts, and you might see that stock market take off of that news. On the flip side, if we print higher, which the core PCE, remember the core inflation data has actually not upticked, whereas the headline inflation data has kind of moved back and forth the last several months. If we got a 2.9 or 3% reading here from the core PCE, you might see highs for interest rates in the last several years. The 2-year right now, I've been watching it, is sitting right around 4.9%. And remember that thing topped out just at 5.1%. And so we're not that far from the highs in interest rates. And of course, you and I have covered this on the show here. Those are interest rate highs for the last decade plus. And so we're close. The stock market seems fine with it right now. But yeah, if you saw this core PCE number uptick, or the headline number be higher than expected, you might see them completely price out interest rate cuts here for 2024.
And then the headline number expected to be a little bit of an uptick. I didn't grab it. I should have grabbed it, but it's interesting. Maybe we can look at it on Thursday when you come by. If you go back even further, pre-pandemic, go back to before this inflation was even a conversation. Once again, what is that normal 2.5% range that we've been maybe stuck in or bouncing off of, going back far enough here? But we've come off so far on that main number, the core number, but the headline number should be still watched here, because we did get an uptick last time.
Yeah, and I'll bring that for the show on Thursday afternoon prior to Friday's reading. If I'm remembering correctly, Brennan, and I think I am, because I can remember, and I'm sure you guys all remember trading in that period of the mid to late 2010s, where we're waiting for interest rate hikes, waiting for the first hikes since financial crisis, right? And inflation was just glued to 1.5 to 2%. Because if we had gotten anything in that 2.5% range, like you're saying, we probably would have gotten those interest rate hikes that I just remember every single month waiting for them to hike. It was priced in, 50-50, and then we get closer and closer to the date, they price it out, they wouldn't hike. But I will bring that on Thursday. And yeah, it's an interesting point, because what Brennan essentially is alluding to is the threshold for them cutting rates 2.5%? Because if it is, we're 2 to 3/10 of a percentage point away from that. That being said, it seems like they're really, really sticklers for this 2% number, man, because the markets don't lie. They are pricing out these cuts, even though inflation is supposedly moving towards 2%, Brendan. The market now is, like I say, as close to no cuts this year as we've been in the last half a year's worth of trading. And we're only, 2.7, 2.8%. You would think if they weren't being sticklers, that they'd be fine with cutting after 2 or 3 more months of down ticking by 0.1%. But at this rate, and what the market's pricing in, it's looking like they're going to be sticklers for that 2% even number, and the market not thinking that we're going to get there at least for the next few months. But yeah, I'll bring more of that data on Thursday prior to the PCE.
Yeah, this is, I just found one quickly here, and yes, please do, because it'll be way more in depth than this is, but this just highlights exactly what you were saying. You got to go all the way back to like 2012, even 2010, 2011. Yeah. You know, we were, as you said, between 1.5% and 2% right through to 2021. Essentially, there was a little blip when we got over 2% there, but the last time, you know, 2.5% came into play was 2008, 2009, which now, you know, we're sitting there kind of hugging as support. Yeah, so really interesting as far as how they're going to break through that potentially and maybe ignite some of these cuts as per usual. Lots to look forward to coming up later in the week. Frank, good to see you.
Thanks, Brennan.
There it is. Thank you.
On schedule.
Frank. Yeah, perfectly done right there. We are now, I mean, look, that's, the question remains, what is going to happen? When is it going to happen? And does it even matter if it does happen? And because honestly, the market just keeps on being resilient. You get the Fed out there, they talk a little hawkish, the market bounces right back. I mean, look what we're doing on Meta right now. We're now $1.70 in the money now on Meta. Oh, wow. So, I mean, this is a huge move back up to the upside right now. We've got a good call on Shopify. We're now 70 cents in the money on GME here as well. And all is working out right now. Remember the last trade we left you guys with, right before we went on air, was buying this dip. And I said what we were doing. And we always talk about know how you're trading. I am just a support and resistance guide. That's it. So there it is right there. Came in, take the long, and right there, Meta. One of my top stocks of the day, just by buying it at the end of the day. So we've done it numerous times right here in front of you all regarding Nvidia late on the end of the day, and now we're doing it again on Meta. So again, great trades early, bad trades in the middle of the day, and then better trades right here late, as we just went all the way up. Like we just went $2 in the money there on Meta clean. So we'll put an offer up, or $2 right now in the money. So let's just put an offer upside. There it is again. So you thought the dollar clubs were over with, but they're kind of just getting started. Let's see if we get another one here on Meta, now $1.80 in the money. That was a pretty good one. Tesla and Chevron, I don't know anything about that, but
Tesla and Chevron. That's not related. That's Tesla or Chevron. Tesla's merging with Chevron.
Oh, and then they're not merging anywhere. Yeah, don't worry about that.
No.
No. Right there, 93. So just before we go back to Neil there, we only have a third left of this. So we're almost going to be knocked out of Live Nation. So if we get knocked out, we get knocked out of that stock. So I just want to bring that to everyone's attention because we already got another piece out when it was barcoding down here before we went to Frank there. So, all right, Live Nation upside.
I mean, yeah. Anyways, Chevron.
There it is, Meta.
Chevron does have that deal with the Hess deals going through. That's actually happening. I got in and out of not Meta, but AMD. It did wick me out while Frank was on. Then it held the support off 170.5. We jumped back in. I scalped it to previous support, turning into resistance at 170, 180. So I'm in and out of that stock. Lucy reopened, and we didn't have free locates on it. That said, it opened up and right away failed at 49 cents. So unless you were shorting right at the open, not much you could do with it. It consolidated underneath 46. I shorted 44. It bounced off 40. I'm holding on to about 30% of it at this point just to see if it can break the 40-cent level. So Lucy, there was an offering. It halted to the downside. It broke the low of the day, shorted the consolidation. I now have a break-even stop here at 44. If it takes it, fair enough. Otherwise, we're going to hold to see if this goes lower. Down 60%, Lucy in some trouble with that offering. There's also AMC bouncing back up to our entry, or almost to our entry, that 5 level. So if it breaks 5, I think at this point I'll probably just get out if it breaks it by a few cents, but I'm not reloading unless it gets closer to exactly $5. Like I'd like to get 90. I have 97s currently, 96.5. But I'd like to get something better than 95 between that and the $5 level on AMC, as long as GameStop isn't doing something completely insane. GameStop can be at VWAP, and I would still like the short at 5 on AMC. But if GameStop is breaking out above 24 and higher and big time volume and all that good stuff, then I'm getting out of that short, or at least not reloading it on AMC. So that one's been working. New one was Lucy. AMD, I'd take another shot. at the dip buy if you can hold the exact same level. But if the market's rolling back over, I did say I wanted Intel. This can't even get to VWAP. Market bounced, and Intel went 15 cents. That's it. So it looks relatively weak. It's got a 90 level in here as a lower high. I'm going to give it to that and get on the offer. Try to short this one back into 30.90 on Intel. And Ike Anderson, you're right, SLV steady up today. It's been a good day for silver, leading silver traders. Gold's been doing the heavy lifting, but the silver market starting to pick up a little bit. I heard some of the boys talking about it this morning, so you know when it gets talked about on the trade floor for like casual swings and that kind of stuff, it's starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, silver's been hot fire for a minute. All right, so
Bitcoin.
What's been hot fire right now is Palantir. I mean, it's not really that hot fire, but we got out and it's right back up. So we did get taken out there, whether or not it's the bottom or not. We got hit on Palantir, but very, very small. We took some profit first, averaged it back in, and then now it's right back where it was. Oh, well. We'll take the $1 and $2 winner. For Meta. So, I mean, bottom of the day, that's the low of the day right there. It's always nice when you make it going long, not always good when you make it selling. And then we got right up to the 200 period moving average. So that's what we're doing right there. So that was a pretty good one as we go. All right, so GameStop is another one. Right there, 22.50. So we got 2 outs already up there at 23. That's the 50 period moving average. Still waiting up here just to make sure I do have an order. I do right at VWAP. So we can get something in and around 23.50. That would be great for that. And we'll move on. And then the only other trade is nothing. Alibaba, good outs down there. I mean, now it's potentially setting up for a long as we break above VWAP right now and the market's trying to get going again. So this is a good potential, breaks above the 50 period, trying to get going now back above on the NASDAQ. What is the ES? So the NASDAQ is flat. ES still down 0.23. I think we had some problems with some of the...
By the way, I had meant to hit, when you were talking earlier, I meant to hit the market going green thing, and I think I accidentally hit the reds. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. It's the NASDAQ bouncing going back to green, and that's what I was going to convey. It's this one that the NASDAQ used to, but you're right, the ES still holding down. I'm gonna guess it hasn't been that great for the banks, and not everything is to the upside. I know tech's having a fantastic day, but Bitcoin did make that turn. When you get these big volume bottoms, these wick bottoms on huge volume, that setup works like a champion. I went over to AMD when Frank was talking, and then forgot all about Bitcoin, like right in here, 38.4 reholds. You could have even had it down here, like 38.5, whatever that corresponds with on actual spot Bitcoin. I'm not really sure, not that it matters, but look at the ramp right back into the upside. So volume dump, you see the rejection candle, and then the long starts to come in on Bitcoin. So things looking like it's back to normal. If that's the reason the market made some lows, I think we can have a bit of a turnaround in here. AMD's nowhere near VWAP for a reload there. But Francisco Infante, thank you for the super chat. This is the second one we've got today about Netflix. Netflix not always the best day trading stock, but got it in the long term, and we like ye. Although I want to check out that new. There's like this AI flick out now with Jennifer Lopez that looks interesting. Oh, it's what's it called? Atlas. Yeah, it's basically like every AI movie is exactly the same. AI goes crazy, tries to kill humanity, and then I guess Jennifer Lopez tries to save humanity. But it looks pretty interesting. I'll check that one out. I like Netflix. It's breaking out the highs here. It's about to take $650 clean. Why does that matter, you ask? Well, it's only $1 or $2 away from the 52-week high. So a 50 break is into overhead resistance a little bit. So I'd just be a little bit careful with this, because on Friday, like 52 was your top. So there's room for this to go. Love what they're doing here. I moved. It ended up not mattering dollar for dollar, but when I sold my Disney shares, I put them into Netflix, and it was like nothing even happened. They just kind of started moving together. But I decided I like this one better in the long term. Love you some Netflix in here. They're going to get into sports, which I think is fantastic for them finally making that wave. Although, fingers crossed that Tyson's okay, because he had like some kind of a medical emergency on a plane. Just over the weekend.
Oh, of course he did. Honestly.
Well, but the guy's in his. He's not a young man. I mean, I believe he might have actually had some.
Yeah, so do I.
But he's got to get paid, and Jake Paul can, like, at the end of the day, the Pauls can absolutely sell. So I understand why people go out there and get paid, but I don't know. I don't want to see the guy get hurt. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Who? Mike Tyson get hurt?
No, at his age, like I don't want to.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't want to see him get hurt either. But I think he can knock out.
Of course he could. Oh, of course, his talent level, skill, he's still got the power.
We're talking about Logan Paul here.
No, but if one of them gets, let's put it this way, no matter who gets a beating, only one of them would have any long-term issues off that beating. It's going to be the older guy.
Yeah, and then the guy who wants the paycheck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's what happens. Okay, so all right, so we are in GME right now. I just want to see that fight. All right, nice move to the upside right here for GameStop. We're now 70 cents, trying to go. It just tried to break that shelf there. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Just tried to break. I didn't even know anything happened to Mike Tyson. That's too bad. 23.30. So we did have $1 in the money there, but again, not breaking. So it did break. We saw the net start to spike up a little bit there, which is good. I mean, I like to see that. But yeah, not breaking too higher for us on GME. So that kind of sucks for now. All right, we'll wait. Shopify starting to go. I mean, it's funny because I actually said we did not want to reload that there, but we should have. We should have reloaded it at VWAP, and I guess we still had confidence there, but we were also really long meta, and we just actually we're going to be up more on meta than we are on Shopify actually, and we had Shopify 3 times, so it's just I felt way better about this long there than taking it again on Shopify, but we still could have done it. That's too bad. No, that's a good trade there too. All right, what's up, Adair?
Interesting late day small cap runner here in the form of Airwin's Technology, AWIN. This one has run before, as you can kind of see here on the chart. Right now, halted a couple times, up about 100%. Reason why I say this one started running later in the day, around 2:30. Looks like this one reported its earnings 2:30 p.m. today. Pretty nice year-over-year jump here for earnings per share, up from a loss on a year-over-year basis. So nice look for AWIN. They do have about a 700,000 share float, so very small float here. 6.9% of that is going to be short float. Market cap around $3 million USD. So pretty small company, AWIN to the upside, guys.
Yeah, 700,000. Okay.
Positive $12 versus -6. A turnaround story?
Yeah, a little bit, but the floats, it's unlike 2 million shares. So this is, as you would suspect, halted multiple times, and it's probably going to halt at least a couple more times after this, so just be careful. Like I said, trade with stops. If you want to get trapped in halts, that's up to you. I'm not going to be touching that one. I just don't see enough liquidity. Like when GameStop halts, or AMC, or I don't know, there's like a host of other stocks that we could put into that category. Like when they make their moves and they go crazy into halting, there's still some semblance of liquidity, being able to get the fills and all that good stuff. Like the ones that you have no idea if it breaks a level, will you be able to get out before it halts? Those are dangerous, and I'm not a huge fan of those at all. So Lucy just got back into the low. I'm going to take some more out here on the bid. I just try to get some 38s. 38 halves. That continues to work to the downside. Offering for Lucy, that's the reason why they're down. AMC right back into 5. Was just able to get some at 96.5 again. So it's right back. It just bounced off 5 even, or 99s. And on the way back, just took some at 96. So I'm always keeping track on GME. If GME breaks VWAP, I might just punch out. But as long as we're underneath VWAP, I'm going to stick with the under 5 short on AMC. So still in that, still in a firm at exactly the same price. And then Lucy was the other. AMD doesn't seem to want our VWAP in here, but it's starting to pull back with this market. So if it can make a higher low, we'll have to get back into this one. It's been an absolute rocket ship, AMD to the upside. Though it does look like a head and shoulders, lower highs being put in. I just preferred the weakness of Intel. Like Intel, under VWAP by a heck of a lot more, almost at the low of the day. And when the market popped, it popped 10 cents. Just not much of a move at all. So we'll play the short in Intel. The other thing that works for Intel is it never even broke the down channel. If you look at the today's bounce, the last couple of days, you're still holding a bit of a recent trend to the downside on this stock. $30 has been great for Intel in the general sense in a whole, but it's nowhere close to that now.
All right. What do we want to talk about? Oh, Live Nation. Oh, there it is. Okay, so, yeah. Look, it definitely didn't act the way we thought it would. At the end of the day, we go up and then down and around on this roller coaster, literally up, down. And I mean, look, this looks exactly Boom, there's a down, another right up, and move down. So I'm just gonna get out. I mean, we were waiting for a break of the low of the day, but honestly, it's 314 right now. We're just gonna do that and then get out. So there it is. It's a good trade, obviously, for us. We're short there at 44, out just in the 13s. Our last fill was 13. Our best fill is O's there. And then we also, actually, looks like we have like a 13, a 15, and an 08 or something like that. So not great. It's still a profitable name. We'll take it. But at the end of the day, not much happening with Live Nation. So we could wait to see if there's anything else going on with that. It does not look like it. I was almost convinced about taking more short here on Amazon. And then I thought, like, the market's kind of flat. We don't really need to take that risk. But if you do get up into this area, this was the other name. There was a net. So I said it was GameStop, but so what was it? Alibaba, I think. And then, I mean, this is the other one there for Amazon. I mean, came right into these 805-ish dark pools. And again, right up to those levels. So we can wait to see. I mean, it does coincide with some levels from Friday as well. But right there, yeah, I mean, that's 4 times to the top there at 181. We should have been here. We weren't here at 11 o'clock, but that we should have been just, well, I guess we were probably here for that one.
You know what's
just at 11. But
random, because you pointed that out, PayPal exactly the same thing.
yeah, that's, I mean, I know, but it's not, I've been pointing it out to a lot of these.
There's like even like names that you haven't even looked at today.
Right.
It's just, it's so many, but this is also, again, it's at another level. So it might be worth looking at going forward. It's not to say just go short when you see one of those wicks, but if it happens to turn there and you can find, like, that's tight risk. Like, this one's 10 cents worth of risk when you could have got in right in here. Like, it's sitting there, it goes to the same top, and then it bounces at 63.10 a couple times, and that high is at 63.15. So you're breaking 10 down, and it was right at the open. It's like, it's really not a lot of risk for a setup like that, but it's just a theory more than anything else. And when you see a pattern, you want to take that pattern, at least as long as it works. So if AMC is going to go 5 back into like 490 and 485, then we're just going to try to rinse it and repeat it. It's 3:15. We got 15 minutes to early look imbalances, and we got at least the rest of the session. But Power Hour has been. Ooh, okay. What was that? I didn't do that. Power Hour so far has been a bounce to the upside. It's a lower high on the NASDAQ, so I do still feel like you could be making a pullback. Weak stocks, I want to be looking for shorts after that move. So that's what we've done. Intel, Lucy had news, AMC off GameStop. And we're already in a firm, but I still think you can have a chance. Some strong stocks might be able to give us some bounce plays again. So we took AMD once, looking to see if this can get off VWAP. A-Win apparently is that halt? Nope. Okay. It's not halting again. It looked like apparently it was going to halt to the downside, and it might take out the top. So AWIN, that of the 700,000 share float, headed back toward the top, or at least $8 after reopening and not immediately halting. So I guess it can't stay open a while. I said it's going to halt multiple times. I still think it's going to halt again. Way too small of a flow with this kind of volatility not to get at least one more good halt. Up or down, I'm not here to guess at it. And I bet you we'd have to pay for locates even if I wanted to short this thing. Not worth it. I just saw like a 30-cent spread when it got to $8 there. Nope.
Nope. All right. I mean, that's the thing. When these things halt, you got to be very, very careful, especially with the different sides that are available to trade. Look at this. Meta. So we're long at 475.33. I mean, it's $1.80 right now, or $1.50, sorry. We've already took that out. We only have one piece left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 outs. So one piece out already, one piece left. If we break below the 50-period moving average, I think we can just wrap it up. This has been a great trade for us this afternoon. It's really just been our only one. We've been looking at GME. Of course, we did have that break higher. Then we got stopped out lower. So that's a L there on GME, trying to hold it back in. And then we realized that, hey, it's bouncing around a little bit. So we did buy it back on GME. And then boom, goes the dynamite. We just didn't sell it against that last little wick there. So that was going to be our last out. Let's wait to see. I don't know. We just bounced off 23.30. Was hoping for VWAP. We're still going to hold out hope for that and see if we can get it. And then Shopify is trying to go higher. So I've really liked this trade. Breaking above 58, I think that could still happen, and then we'll get back into the day's high. So Shopify is one of those plays. And App already broke 190. I was going to say, like, really like Apple down here at 190, but we've already broken it. So now you're just above the 50 period still. Still think this is a short. I'd like to get it back to this 190.60 area, but that's where the 200 period is. It doesn't look like that's going to be coming in anytime soon. We talked, I know Neil is in right now in Intel. So that was just at an interesting level because it's near an even dollar. And then AMD as well. Trying to trade names that are moving, right? Because with the end of the day, it's 320 right now, so you want to trade something that's moving. What about Alibaba? AMD, we've already looked at AMD a bunch.
Not down
right
in
the middle.
Where is it?
Yeah, Alibaba, so we shorted. This is one trade for me today. It's a good one. It's a short on Alibaba. This might be my number one trade, actually. It is. P&L wise, this is number one today for me because it was simple, easy. We just put a bunch of shares on here. We are giving it to some of the highs, and then boom, goes the dynamite down into the downside. So it's gonna be my PL number one today will be Alibaba just off one trade, and it happened in the middle of the day. So I like the way that is. Oh, Anthony Fauci again?
I haven't heard that name in a while.
COVID's back, baby. No, I have no idea what's going on there.
Novavax got a big reversal today.
The only other thing, now that we talk about COVID, I don't know if
you're
it's a segue for DJT.
Oh, I thought you were going to go to Moderna.
50. I just want to look at this. Oh, yeah, Moderna's another one. We could actually. Oh, before I forget, we have Mike Edwards from True Trading Group coming on tonight.
I'd like to know because Moderna had a big pullback.
Remember, he got out, remember?
I know, but
last time we
I was curious if he's looking to buy any dips
okay,
into
I'll
that
ask
stock.
him. I'll ask him. So Mike Edwards coming from True Trading Group. Join me after the market, well, after the show with the market recap. We'll have Mike Edwards on, and we'll just talk about trading. I mean, that's what we do there on the recap show. But DJT is going to break 50. I think this looks like a good long if it breaks it. So,
Wow, that stock is.
yeah, I would say if you're short, watch out for that break for sure.
Yeah, I don't like. That's one of those stocks. Like, I'm not buying these tops, but and I don't even like the breakup here at this time of day. I just feel like you don't want to short it because it's been ripping faces off. A couple of times in this chat, there's been questions about Walgreens and CVS. I feel like there's a running theme here. We get a lot of questions about beaten up names in, sometimes it's a retail sector. In this particular case, obviously both of these are like in the pharmacy side. And look, CVS, so Walgreens, I'll talk about Walgreens in a second, but CVS particularly, we always talk about letting things bounce. It's really easy to look at a weekly chart here of CVS and say $52, why wouldn't you buy 52? Look at it bounce there. This is in 2019 bottoms. Then it's the pandemic low. The other way to look at this is, well, what happens if it breaks down from here? If it closes under, do you really want to be caught in this stock? If it loses pandemic lows on CVS, like that is a dangerous place to be in. So like a stock like this, I'd rather have it if it breaks back above 60, and then I can be long breaking out here, and then my out can be down at the bottom instead of trying to catch a falling sword. And whether it's CVS, Walgreens, the reason I led with CVS is because like at least there's something to look at with CVS where you can say, well, maybe you can bounce here and we like that level. Walgreens, I don't even know. What are you doing with this stock at this point? Like it's through everything and just continuing lower. This is broken, and until it does something spectacular, this is one of the better downward trending stocks you're gonna have out there. So everyone wants to catch a falling knife because you say to yourself, hey, you know, you're gonna get a dividend, you're gonna be able to, what is the dividend? Do I have it up here? No, I don't have the dividend on that one. But anyways, they do pay a dividend. And then you're also gonna have the potential of like a big time bounce somewhere, but just don't catch a falling knife. It's a dangerous way to go about business. Just allow the bounce to happen. I think at least with CVS, you've got the 52, the pandemic low lines up with a 2019 bottom, and if it bounces, you got a little something you can work off of. So just trying to pick up some AMC on the way back in. If this is going to be the range, then we're just going to trade inside the range. Like $5 has hit a couple of times since we've been on. On the way back down, you've been able to get it in the high 90s, and we'll just scalp out, and we can sit there watching GameStop as GME seemingly stalled out that move and is making lower highs, trending back into the bottom. I would suspect that you're going to get a lot of the same thing there for AMC. As long as GameStop isn't doing anything crazy, I think that should be fine. Just jumping back over to Lucy. I love Lucy. But at the same time, I mean, what are you going to do? Like the stock just got nasty after it had that flush. It's LUCY. After that flush, it's holding 40. So it just put in a higher low. I took a little bit more out. It's still stair-stepping to the downside, but I canceled bids, and I'm now going to play it by ear. So if it drops on a big candle, I'll just look to jump on the bid and take some out in that moment. But Lucy's still trending down. After they announced an offering, halted to the downside, reopened, we said we'll short it off of the reopen as long as it's under 50. The first available level was 44, under the 45 level. Nvidia still up 7% and still going higher and higher. 1140. Wow, that stock is absolutely insane. It just keeps, it's like the Energizer Bunny, man. Although that reference, and no one pays attention to the Energizer Bunny. They don't run those ads anymore, I'm going to assume. Not that I see commercials. Only place I see commercials now is on Amazon. They still
do. That's a pretty
Amazon Prime. I haven't seen any commercials for them there, though.
All right, Amazon. I like Amazon. But not Amazon Prime. I don't really watch anything on that. We've talked about there's been some good shows on there, so we don't have to go.
There's a new one that I'm starting, which is really good with James Brolin. Shoot.
Okay. Yeah, I know that
It'll come to me. It's like a science fiction, but it happens on the ranch. Shoot.
Yeah.
I literally just started. I've watched like half of one episode, and it looks really cool. I'll have to. It's gonna now it's just gonna bother me, but it'll come to me in a second. I'm getting old.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But actually, for Amazon Prime, like it's seamless. Like usually, I don't want to have ads. And I know with Netflix, I pay to not have the ads. Right. But when they just sort of rolled it, everyone now gets ads on Amazon Prime. Like actually, I'm not even considering whether I want to get rid of them. I can just live with it. It's really not that big of a deal. But it is outer range. That's what it's called. Thank you very much, Ramin. I'll let you guys know how it is. But I love a bunch of stuff on Amazon Prime. Jack Ryan's great. You'd love that one as well. The Boys. The Boys is amazing if you're into that. I think it's great. Some people think it's a little bit graphic, but I think it's freaking hilarious. Homelander is one of the best villains. He's one of the best characters on anything right now.
Good. Yeah, I knew we would start to talk about that. Micron. Yeah, I'm just trying to see what's going on here right now. DJT falls off that 50. I mean, at least we talked about it. I mean, that would have been a good short there if you had it. Yep. Again, you got to pay for shorts a little bit probably for that. GameStop still doing its own thing. Shopify doing its own thing. Meta doing its own thing. We're just three longs, and really the only one that's of worry is GameStop. But we already have our stop in there if we break through 22. That's basically that bottom right there. So I could see this trying to go for a run here into the close. But it tried already, and we got excited when it broke 23, but then it just came right back in. So needs to get going through that, and then we can do it. The one name, DraftKings, I want to take a look at as well. So DKNG here, 3680. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get up to there. You're now down 10%. We had looked at a short for this. We really liked the short for DraftKings. It's just you had to get it right away. Other than that, playback to VWAP probably would have been fine there. I don't think that would have been a stop out, and I don't even think that's where VWAP was at the time. And then now just looking here, you're now above and trying to make highs. But look at that. That's kind of a unique little bottom there because on a name that's down 10%, this is probably almost exactly 10% right here at $36. So looks like you're trying to bounce off 36 whenever you see things like that. You know, we look at those levels for tomorrow. So a little break tomorrow morning maybe to the downside, especially if we start red in the market. I would look to sell that off DraftKings tomorrow morning down through 36 if we do get that. Meta's doing this, and I'm starting to get, you know, a little bit. Well, actually, our stop is already still here. So our stop is at 40s. So this is now looping up, giving me a better stop if you want to change it. You could change it to 60 and save yourself maybe 30 pennies. We've already got out a whole bunch of this, so just trying to look at where we're talking about because it's 3:30 right now, and there's not very many big names today. There's Cava that should report after hours. Yep. Again, this name is only up, I think, 300% or something since IPOing. Is this the next Chipotle or not? It seems like it is. Just continues to make moves to the upside right here. Since IPOing down at 30, it's a three-bagger. So all the way to the upside right there, like tripled up, man. So 300 times, right to the upside, 300% straight up. I mean, I don't know if it touched 90 or not, but there it is. I don't know. I guess it went down from its IPO, so I shouldn't say it's 3 times from its IPO. But from these bottoms of 30 all the way up to 84, 85, looks like it's trying to work out. Cava right there. We don't have them around here, but again, Mediterranean food, fast foodish. So that was a good one there.
I mean, it's probably one of the best. I mean, it's probably the best performing IPO. There've been some great ones. Obviously, ARM has
Yes.
had, I mean, look, ARM has been pretty darn successful as well, but percentage-wise, I mean, Cava's been, I think, better from the bottoms. I don't know since the open. I'm not sure about that, but since the bottoms for sure. ARM's been a beast.
It's just a double from the open because it was 41 or something.
ARM,
82.
what was ARM? 55 maybe?
Yeah, or 60.
Was it 55 or 60?
Yeah.
No.
ARM is probably better from open.
Yeah, it opened 55 and is at 120. So I guess it's still a double as well. The actual move top was 3x. If you go 55 to 165, but either way, both of them fantastic. It just hit 330. Talking about playing inside the range, we just got 90s again on AMC, but I did want to give you guys the early looks. Procter and J&J probably don't matter. If those are 1 million shares, those types of stocks on an early look Imbalance, it's not that significant. If they're 3, 4, 5 million, that could matter a little bit more. Roblox is an early look buy of 740,000. I think that would be the only one worth monitoring. I haven't even looked at Roblox today. It's not a huge imbalance, but let's say 750 at 350 turns into 1 million, and this is coming off the bottoms. There could be a little something on Roblox. So it's just a small buy right now for RBLX. Pretty decent day it's having. It's a good consolidation after the earnings drop. Like higher lows. Maybe this is going to be a 34 break this week. That's one I hadn't looked at. Previous resistance, earnings bottoms, kind of like a quadruple top or whatever you want to call this 34. Yeah, that's a level worth watching this week. We like things when they settle down after earnings, give you a defined level, break out from that level. So I'm just going to put in the iPad RBLX 34. You could also just set some kind of an alert in your system. Mine is just going to be to write it down. And if we break it, maybe we'll get a 34 break on Roblox this week. Probably needs a catalyst to do it, but you never really know, and you're not paying attention to it if you don't, call it up, go over it, or already know the stock. Roblox isn't something I own, so it's not a chart that I look at on a regular basis. So thankfully, it was on the Imbalance locator, and we had a gander.
Yeah, we got dinged twice this weekend for Robux, so yeah, it's nice to see that
Twice?
stock going. Yeah, it just re-ups every month for them. So, all right, so yeah, we like Roblox, and we talked about that on getting hit there on earnings as well. All right, so again, not a mistrade because we got out of it, and got out of it when we wanted to. So it's not like I'm going to say, oh, we got wicked out. We didn't get wicked out of anything. We got taken out of Palantir on purpose when it broke lower, and we should have just been a little more patient with it. But at the same time, this is when this market was doing this, and
What's
this.
Bitcoin doing?
So it wasn't looking great there. But it's nice to see Palantir back up and doing better than the NASDAQ. I want to keep this one on our radar for the next couple days and say what's up to that with Palantir, because I really like this name, and I think this is one of the names that we got to buy on dips. And it's really, look at the daily chart. I mean, if this was if this was a 3-5 minute chart, I'd be buying these dips. So I'm gonna do it on the daily as well. We do have support at 19 or so with the 200 period moving average. Whether or not that's support or not, I mean, it held there. Hard to tell maybe where it was at this point. You could have to go back and try to chart it, but at the same time, it feels like it's been holding some of these dips, and then here's one right now trying to hold again. So upside, dip, hold, upside, dip, hold, huge upside, dip, chips, and dip. So that looks pretty good down there for that hold. We'll wait for that one. GME, I mean, running out of patience a little bit. It's 50 cents in the money. I'm debating taking it and not calling it a day on this or anything like that. But again, it's been a pretty good trade here for us on GME, just buying these dips. And the only time we've lost on it is when we've waited for it to really get going. So good trade here, 50 cents in the money. We'll discuss it more when we get back from Madeira, who's over at the big screen.
We're going to take a look at some of these S&P 500 names making some larger moves today, and they all are going to be to the downside, as a lot of the market is, including Pepsi here, PEP, PepsiCo, one of a few drink names here, including Monster Energy and Celsius Holdings to the downside. PepsiCo potentially trading lower off the Celsius-related dip, which has to do with some cooling and some Nielsen data, so PEP to the downside. LU, another weekday here for Lululemon, trying to curl a bit here, but still down about 2.5%. Stifel and Goldman Sachs both lowering their price targets for the company ahead of its earnings, which are going to be coming up next week. So some weakness for Lululemon. We also have GIS here to the downside. General Mills getting a price target decrease from JP Morgan. Also coming out today as well that apparently there's been an increase in their short float since their last earnings report. So some negative sentiment towards GIS here, guys.
General Mills.
Yeah,
Huh?
I have to acknowledge what's going on in Coinbase and I mean everything in crypto land. I mean, Robinhood's making a move as well, but Coinbase just broke the high of the day, and it's starting to continuing to accelerate. So when you got that wipeout bottom on IBIT, remember we said it broke the low of the day, big volume candle. That turn, it went ham in Coinbase as that's just ramping to the upside. You had Robinhood at VWAP, which is continuing like this. It's another V-shaped bottom. So I think most of these names are doing the same thing. It's 335. I'm going to take a shot off 2050 on Hood. I don't want to chase Coinbase, but if we have a move that's going into the close, and it's just because we made that weird volume bottom on BTC, I think there was something that happened on Bitcoin, but I don't know if there was a story or if it was just one of those somebody big dumped and it caused a temporary bottom. But whatever it is, it's starting to drag these back into the upside, and at least Hood has room to the high of the day. There was a halt in that A-win again. It halted down, it halted up. It had a flat tap. So, if it opens back up and halts again, it's not going to surprise me. Still not going to trade it. But if you guys want to know what the tap is while it's halted, just throw it into the chat. We'll let you know, but probably not going to trade it.
And most of the time, patience pays, and it does a little bit here with GameStop because there it goes. So hopefully we can now drop down a little bit more cash than we had in our pockets before this trade because we'll take out some at 23.10. So we were just sitting right there. We said that we'd get some out before it got into this area, and it's into this area right now again. So there's our out rate. I mean, we don't have the best out, but it's starting to go back up. So I just put another offer up here. We can get something, let me just make sure that is where I put it. No, $24, sorry. Right ahead of 24. And then we'll still have some shares, and if it wants to moon, it can moon. But there it is. Nice move to the upside right here. It is now another Dollar Club member right there for GameStop. So again, we are a little bit greedy here, trying to hold out for GameStop. I mean, we talked about that. Greed can be good. And I think in a name like this, you got to have a little bit of it because it's why we're trading it. You'll lose when you lose, and you got to win when you're in the right position. So we'll take some more out. We still got 40% or so of the trade. So I like it. We'll see if we can make it work out for us here on this name. So far, so good here with our thoughts on GameStop and just making sure that everything else is all lined up, which it looks like it is. So GME just touched the 200 period. That's that. Was trying to look for Meta. We still have that same break spot, but look where Meta is now. I'm still giving it down to here. I mean, this is pretty loopy. I don't know. We could stop out here, but let's give it a little more love and see if we can get something to the downside there. Shopify trying to get back into the Dollar Club. This is one of my best stocks of the day. Look where we are on Shopify. We might just want to take this out. I mean, you want to talk about almost a picture-perfect opportunity. Fell back in, probably to the 50 period. We bought it. Fell back into VWAP, and then there it goes again. So, I mean, we're right here right now. Big time trading. GME, nice upside. Shopify, $1. Meta, almost $2. And DJT apparently is back to 50.
It broke 50.
Oh, it did break 50. Just
yeah,
Nvidia break 50 as well? No, 11.50 right now.
So it's a muted break on DJT, although we just heard it's like, oh, back to the highs, but it went 18 cents or so.
Yeah.
And the volume, not huge, but it's still holding above 50. Like I said, I'm not going long or short this. I definitely wouldn't be shorting this late in the day on whatever we want to call this catalyst. But yeah, the volume definitely tapering off. I did grab in front of the 2050 level on Robinhood. It just punched into the 60s. The top of the day, ignoring the big move that happened at 9:30 into 21 on Robinhood, I'm looking at this 2080 area, like 2075 into 2080 as a top. So I want to scalp into that high of the day on Robinhood, keeping a close eye on Coin as that just continues to go higher and higher. I thought, okay, Coin's going to get up here and start to slow down. Let's get something that has a chance to go into the highs. Whatever the heck is going on in these crypto names, like IBIT and BTC just stalled out and stopped running, and Coinbase said, let's just keep on going and going and going. So up 3.5%. There was no story that I know of. It looks like a technical breakout here on Coinbase. Next stop could be the 260 level. So Coin is absolutely flying. And Kathy's got to be happy at least about this one. There's been there's definitely been some beats, but this one is absolutely flying into the upside. They like some Coinbase in there. Just to double check on Lucy, I'm going to move. It's 340 right now. So if this was going to die after halting down, I feel like it would have happened already. So I won't let this go all the way back to 44. I'm going to trail it into 42. So it can't turn into a losing trade. Offering with loosely, that's why it's down today. Just from any time you're trading one of these low float runners, just understand that they can drop one of these as long as they've already filed for it. Now, if the stock goes up a bunch, then they have to do all the paperwork and get the filing in. They can't just do it at any moment. But a lot of times they've got these locked and loaded. They can drop on you at any moment, and you want to know that if you're swinging it. When you're day trading, all you have to do is trade with a stop. But if you're swing trading it, you can get yourself caught if it happens, say in the pre-market, and your stops are intraday, and you don't have pre-market stops. You can find yourself caught in a gap down on some kind of an offering. So just be careful when you're trading names like this. So as I said, Robinhood was the newest entry for me. Just looking for a bounce into 65. We're risking 5 cents on it. So we already gave 5, then we want 10, and then we're looking for 20 at the absolute top here on Hood.
All right, yeah, good call. I really like trading Robinhood. It's been a good name to do that. It's good because not super expensive, but does have those moves and a little bit of a short float as well for Robinhood. I mean, it's funny that we're talking about Robinhood, and the only thing that's really doing anything right now, GME is trying to go higher here. You know what? I might just get out of that Shopify. I was just staring at it, and I want to talk about GameStop, but then I was thinking, like, you know what? These imbalances are going to be coming out soon, so, oops.
Oh, shoot, I have a...
All right, well, there it is. Props it up. We're out. So I just offered and got filled instantly there on Shopify. So I don't know what that little move was there, but so far so good. Coming back in, Shopify, boom. We just bought it at 34s. We just got out at O's. That is 80 cents or so. Sorry, 04s bought at 34, so 70 cents. Nice move to the upside for Shopify. We'll hold out on that. Live Nation, just another update here. It is trying to go lower. Wish we still had it, but not really. Too much brain power spent on that with nothing happening. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to say that Ethereum, we did talk a little bit about crypto there. It's breaking now.
Higher?
So, yeah, even though this is only 3,800, ETHE is now above. So we talked about this before, that there is a premium built into this name. So there it goes, breaking when we already know the high is 41 or so, 42, 41 and change. So that should be coinciding with this, but it's not. It's already taking it out higher. So there goes ETHE, and then part of the strategy that I would use would be to short this as we come up into view up. I'm not going to do that. I don't use these lines or anything like that for crypto because I just haven't looked at it yet. And honestly, I feel like it's just so based off of news right now and just momentum that I would rather play with a story or some kind of momentum trade. And right now, you're obviously dying upside there, and we don't have that downside move. So for me, it's a breaks on right now for ETHE, but I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention because although we don't have Brian Shannon on today, we have Mike Edwards. Brian had brought this to our attention all the way down here. And then he's such an honest trader. It's awesome. I mean, that's why he comes on with us. But he mentioned that he doesn't have it all the way up here. He has a couple coins left, but he doesn't have ETHE, and he got out of it already. So he could have just said he's still holding it, but that's what it's all about. Yeah. You hit your targets and you get out. I feel like his targets were in here somewhere, but a nice move to the upside regardless now for Ethereum.
35%.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. 35% up.
And that's what, if you go back to the chart.
And was still holding the actual coins.
But
he was buying it down here.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a couple of weeks.
We had him, whatever the Tuesday is down here, he was here. So 21, 22 to 35. I mean, come on, forget about it.
You do a couple of weeks, 35%. You do that 3 or 4 times a year. As a swing trader. As a swing trader, that could be your year. But so the move up to the highs in ETHE might better explain what's going on in like Coinbase and that. Because obviously that's still going ham. But we talked about Coinbase, but I didn't hear anything spectacular there. But MSTR, there was a question about MSTR, thoughts there. But like everything else related in the space, it's at the tops. Not really looking at chasing tops at 344, but like everything in crypto land, whether it's in, we talked about Coinbase is only pulling back now. You know what? If it's, okay, so MSTR is at the high. We just saw Coinbase starting to pull back. Yeah, this is already stalling out. And it's just not moving enough. And Robinhood, I was admittedly late to Robinhood. Admittedly. Like, we didn't get it till it's over VWAP, thinking there was room for it to continue going. But now suddenly this looks pretty tight. If we're going to pull back going into the close, and it's 345, yeah, we're running out of time on this one. I'm on the offer now. I'm going to go break even stop on this. I didn't even realize it was that late. And then AMC, we got one more leg out. At this point, I'm just going to hold AMC in case it breaks 485, and I'll look for something at the bottom. I'm going to have a break-even stop on this as well. So we were getting 96s and 97s at best. Our reload was at 96. So if it gets back up to that high, we just get out of AMC. And then Lucy, you know, we'd mentioned on news. We like those news plays sometimes if it sets up. So sometimes when you get like a news play, like there's like good luck being short at 57 when they drop the offering. The only play is to let it open and then find a short. If you had taken the reopen trade in hindsight's always going to be 20/20, but taking the open print and then just putting a 50-cent stop on it would have been great. But that's not what I was looking for. When we didn't take that, the only trade was shorting it back into the previous low. So it opens up, tanks. We get one bounce right into the previous low. Once it fails that, this is the setup we like. We then short the next consolidation to this high, and then it trends into the downside. That's a setup I like long. If it's a reverse, it's a setup I like short here for Lucy, but I'm going to move my trail into 40 cents. It can't do any worse than that. We're short at 44. We had some at 44. And then some up here at 45. So I actually had 44.5 as my average price, but the second entry was at 44, and that's what we have left. So Lucy's still working to the downside. You're right about this, John, in the chat. IBIT is still going higher, and the next time we see this setup, we gotta have it. Gotta have it. Biggest, anytime Bitcoin does its, any point past the open, or hopefully in the afternoon, usually when it happens, you get a big dump, and then the largest volume candle is like a bottom wick candle. Just get the first long available. Take this long when it gets back into the low, give it to the bottom, and watch it go. I feel like when you have something which is in a bull run, those types of setups are great. The daily in here speaks for itself. It's trending back into the upside. It's that whole wipeout bottom. Like somebody just comes in and sells, it wipes out the bottom, and then once they fill it back in, it's just buy, 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 buy. And that's all we've seen in Bitcoin, Coinbase. Obviously now ETHE, as Sean mentioned, is going as well. So next time we see that pattern, just gotta have it. 2 minutes till the imbalances. As I said, I've tightened up the stops on all three of the positions that I am in right now. I know overall crypto can be down, but when I see a reversal like that, I still call that, it's just strong to me. You're back at the highs. You essentially just made the low of the day 1 hour ago and then right back at the highs. I think that's a bullish reversal, even if technically speaking it is down.
Right. Just looking, making sure, yeah, we do have Mike Edward coming through from True Trading Group, so that should be really exciting. And yeah, we got stopped out, but I mean, we'll fire off the hot dog for that one. Meta. So just on this trade, like Meta does become right up there for me today. It was a good one. We took a shot there at support and resistance. And again, we always say that, but you got to take shots, man. If you don't take shots, then you're not Little John. You know, shot.
Yeah.
Everybody. Man, Little John was on Apprentice. Man, Apprentice used to be.
Wait, what?
I
don't watch. I mean,
yeah, man, one of the original Little John for sure. Am I going?
No, I watched like two. I watched two series. Like the first two of The Apprentice are the only ones I know. I know the first.
Celebrity Apprentice, obviously.
I never watched any of the Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah, those were the best ones, man.
Can I watch them old now? Like where would
yes,
I?
Of
but
course
where though? Like I don't have.
I don't know.
I don't have cable, man. All right, somebody tell me where I can watch the Little John
you don't
on
remember
Apprentice.
Little John on Apprentice? Well, you obviously don't. Okay, dude.
Am
I losing my mind? Maybe people in the chat. I'll check it out.
It's not that I don't. I believe.
No, it's not that you don't believe me. I'm just one. Now I'm starting to. He was on.
Big Patty Ice says he was.
Yeah,
I want to see
Big Patty
Little
Ice
John.
confirms it. I'm pretty sure he was on it. Okay, so there it is. So a little bit of an out there on GameStop, and just trying to find something else. Shopify, bang. I mean, we can't do any better than that on that one. Amazon. So I said this would be something, but now we're only a minute away. This is a good short. Should have probably had it, but not in the zone right now for that. So nice move to the downside right there for Amazon. Still not really that nice, but we'll have to look at this tomorrow. 181.80x change, something like that. That's going to be a good little top there for Amazon. And if Neil's already talked about it, of course, but this is what the imbalances look like. I'm going to get rid of all these brokers. There's not much on there right now. So when you get rid of them, you only have the New York and the NASDAQ, which will populate very, very shortly. And then we'll see some action. So I only have the only stop order I have out right now is GameStop, and that's nowhere near triggering. So in 2 and 1, we will get another imbalance coming out. So here it comes right now. So series on there. Don't know why that is. Apple's on there. I know you're out of Intel, okay, but that Intel sell was there. There's Apple buy. Doesn't look like it's moving around. Let me just zoom that forward a little bit so we can see the charts a little bit better. So there's Apple, Intel, Comcast. Neil mentioned Procter before because it was an early look. Roblox was an early look. It looks like it stays. So I don't know why that's red, not doing much. So yeah, unless there's a name on here that I'm missing. Nope. Of course, Meta's a buy.
Series of $2 stocks.
So Meta goes, look, see, this is where we would have got taken out of Meta all the way down there. Good
Back
look.
to the chart.
That's it. No. So no, nothing else. I'm pretty happy. I'm almost out. I mean, there goes GME, by the way. GameStop is trying to moon a little bit here. I say moon, but gotta watch what you say because I don't want to get people too excited. But into the 50s right now for GameStop. Let's take it. We're $1 in the money. Let's take it. So we'll offer here 39s right there. Blast through us, well, or it doesn't. We get the fill anyways. There it goes. Out some 39s there on GameStop. That's $1, roughly 90 cents. So now we'll just wait to see where we can go on this one. So far, so good here on GME.
I'm glad you mentioned that that's mooning to the upside. Happy for you, but that means I'm punching out of AMC. The last thing you want to have happen is at 3, you get one of those 350 squeeze ramps to the upside that GameStop just takes, and then AMC's breaking 5, and then it just goes in. So I'm just going to get out. We'll be happy to be out of it. I got out of Lucy as well. So we're done with this one for today. It broke 40. I said I would get out. I trailed to 42, then moved it down into 40 when it consolidated. Might be in play tomorrow after the offering, but you never really know. Robinhood, I put my trail back to break even. It bounced off of that, but not much of a move when you compare it to Coinbase. I mean, ultimately, Coin had the bigger rally through the high of the day. I just felt like Robinhood's had some room to go. Part of it's, I mean, Robinhood's had some good moves. This could be still trying to break out this top. I just felt like this would make a better challenge at like 2080. Maybe 21 tomorrow gets taken out. The last time we were up here, it's a double top on Robinhood. And if it can take that this week, I think it would be, one of the kind of things that could go. Good higher low here, good trending stock. But the thing about a breakout is you can stare at it all you want. If it doesn't break, you got to find other ways into it. So on the way to 21, maybe we're playing off a 20 level, which held like gangbusters today. Maybe we're finding it at 20 and a half. But Robinhood into that local high, I think that can be good as long as we hold some strength in some of the crypto names. Matt Carnes asking about INSM. Let me just cancel. I don't know why I have some orders out.
Yeah,
don't need to be there. And there's some stop orders that shouldn't be hitting because I don't have any positions on, so just get rid of those. But INSM, this was that, I think it's the biopharma name. I actually thought this was going to do a bunch of halting based on the move that happened, but it's very calm. Like, look at how clean this double bottom is. So this was a $22 stock that went to 60-something in the pre-market, dipped into 44 change, then bounced at 2:30. This bounced exactly where the morning low was. Not kind of where the morning low was, like exactly at the morning low, and then popped $3 into VWAP. So obviously, it's not nearly as volatile. I mean, it's a volatile stock. It's moved a ton, but that is ridiculously clean. The reversal on this. So INSM, like if you were watching this and you weren't looking for a long like in here, like that's 45 into a 44.50. 50 cents worth of risk, that consolidation long to the bottom on a stock which at the open was at 51 and essentially went down $7. So it's got the volatility, it had the move. I wrote it off when it tanked in the morning thinking, yeah, that thing's done. Like once I saw it through 50, I'm like, yeah, put a fork in that, it's probably gonna halt down. If it can't hold 50 level, it's gonna get nasty. Because it had that big 50 refresher in the pre-market when that got taken out. Thought it was gonna be done for the day. But good look on INSM.
All right, yeah, good looks everywhere. We only have the one position left. So the only thing really to talk about right now is where we expect GameStop to go. And I don't expect it to go anywhere. So I'm just going to get out when it closes. So we'll have to wait to see what happens here with GameStop. I mean, $24, $24.50. I'll sit over here for a couple more minutes just to see where it goes. And then we'll just punch out there at the end of the day. I was looking here. I didn't like dig into it, but I didn't see anything significant here as far as a imbalance rating for GME. But we can sort it just for something to do.
That's not what I meant to do.
There it is, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, M, E. All right, P, P, P. We're getting closer. There it is, GME. So it's the small little cell. So nothing going on right now for GameStop. I think that's less than 100,000 shares in total, or exactly 100,000 shares in total. Some cell getting a little bit bigger, but it's starting to go upside. So there's GME right there. And these are what the imbalances look like. So it is kind of a hot dog kind of a day. Although we will hit the market recap. Join me and Mike Edward from True Trading Group coming through tonight. And that should be coming out pretty soon here. And then I think the only big one, we have apps reporting. I don't know. And then we have Cava, which is the big one. I mean, I could go over here and just quickly look to see what is going on the earnings board today. Today, of course, is May the 28th.
Oh, yeah, it's digital currency.
Oh, we had Bank of Nova Scotia this morning, did we? My bank, okay. Let's see if I can get some better rates going on there. Futu before market, yeah, there's Cava, so that's going to be the big one. Oh, Box, okay. So there's a few different names that are reporting here on open, or sorry, after close there today, but nothing much. There's Apps, Digital Turbine. I mean, really no names that we,
That's some.
Oh, we have Faraday Future, do we?
Snap.
Oh, damn. So we'll see about Faraday Future right
days
now.
over $1?
Its expected move is just a small 35%. So we will see therefore Faraday coming right at ya.
4 consecutive closes over $1 for Faraday.
It has?
Yeah, 4 in a row.
Okay.
At least according to my. I mean, like I'm just trusting the chart because you can see here. Yeah, that one's above clearly above $1. And it's still, it's at $1.15. This thing is not exactly running away from $1, but the longer it holds up here, the better for them. But you got to report, and then you got to see the actual numbers. We'll see. Randy's had some decent things to say about them. We'll ask his opinion. We'll ask Randy's opinion on them when we get some numbers for these bad boys. In 3 minutes, we'll go. What else we got going on here? Matt Carnes says, watch out for Sedge. Yeah, that's worth a look at some point. Solar Edge. I have not looked. I should have looked at TAN again after the recent run that we've had. First Solar has been the better one. Okay, come on, chart. Solar Edge that bad that you don't want us to. I mean, it's a good-looking chart. You should load up more quickly when you see this thing breaking out the top. The daily chart is showing you a nice little bottom being made in Solar Edge. But you can always tell the best of breed when a stock is in the sector going higher lows and higher highs, and the other one's still in a downward trend. FSLR has generally been the one that you want. But it's more sexy to find a bottom, I guess, for some people. So good luck on Solar Edge. I like things when they've already started breaking out, as opposed to trying to catch that falling knife. And we talked about that with CVX running into some pressure. So 2 minutes to go. There's First Solar. It finally loads up. I just want to show you this chart for Solar Edge. It's one of these things is not, one's not like the other.
All right, just real quickly, I'm going to go move over right there. So we'll wrap it up right now. We did get out of GME right there. So we're out right now at the VWAP. I mean, pretty good trade along there, 22.30, out 23.50. I mean, I don't know if anything's going to happen here into the close. So right now, the NASDAQ's trying to go back upside. It is going upside. And it will close out a decent day, man. I mean, 0.2, it's not bad. It was a heck of a lot worse down near that bottom. So, again, join myself, Adair, and Mike Edward from True Trading Group. We'll talk all about different opportunities, stocks, and after that, any potential opportunities that we see in the next couple days. So Alibaba, just checking back in on that trade. Oh, my blotter has to be reloaded. Okay, so let me see. Alibaba, can I click on it? There it is. Alibaba, good bottom there at 80. So we'll have to see if that's going to hold out tomorrow. So a couple plays for us, and then that Amazon top that we wanted to short. we didn't because of the close, but that's something else to look at for tomorrow, 182. All right, good day here today so far, and it's about to get even better.
Go get him.
We're going to go get him. I just hope it doesn't rain too much here.
Be sure to ask Mike his thoughts on Moderna if he wants to get back into that. It was a great trade, but with the pullback, you never really know. Just one note for all you people that are trading AWIN or looking at AWIN, it halted within the last 10 minutes. 4 o'clock, it should reopen. It's a volatility halt. If it happens in the last 10 minutes, 4 o'clock is like the close and the reopen of that one. So we'll let Sean get onto the desk.
Yep.
We got the bell. Great start to a holiday shortened week. I was about to say it's Monday, but it is Tuesday, which means only 4 days to pack it all in. And we started with a good one here today. Lots of great opportunities as this market is just constantly giving them to you. Nvidia, rocket ship, Coinbase, rocket ship. The market, rocket ship, AWIN, apparently rocket ship as well. GameStop was a rocket as well. I mean, not a heck of a lot to dig into to the south side. Apple, though, making a bit of a reverse as we get the camera from me on over to Adara to drop this countdown. We got it on a Tuesday in 5, 4, 3, 2, and there you go. And as I said, AWIN opens up. It's holding. Apparently went from 9 to like 990 there and right back at 9. So if you're in this one, congratulations. It's going higher in the aftermarket. The other thing, just very quickly for you guys, GameStop closes 25% to the upside. So big move for them. The market green, NASDAQ half a point, and then the ES, of course, got green as well. Flipped it when Frank gave us that move. Big shout out, as always, to Fabian and Rameez, making us look and sound good on the ones and twos. Shout out, of course, to Brendan. Fantastic interview with Frank, as they always do. Great knowledge from Frank. What a great combo that is, leading us into Tuesdays and Thursdays. And got a shout out, not just Adara, for the midday and learn to trade, but also Obi stepping in for Sharif, who's celebrating his birthday over the weekend. We'll welcome him back in tomorrow's trade. But you know what time it is. It's Tuesday. We got some Cava. You got some box as well. But more importantly, you've got Sean Adara at the desk and Mike, the guest of the day. Let's get to the market recap show. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, traders? Yeah, we are here with the market recap show, and wow, what a day to recap again today. I mean, we had some violent moves throughout the day, but it seems like the NASDAQ just ends up 0.2 and the S&P a little down as well, as we had some bank stocks moving around. We had some bad news from DraftKings today. We had Apple, which started long and then ended up short. Some of these other names, crypto moving around today. It was a pretty exciting day to trade, that is for sure. Nvidia. Look at this candle, Adara, 14. Like, where do we stop on this? I mean, there's earnings, and it was just like, that's nice. Oh, you didn't buy the earnings because you thought they were overdone? Well, you know. Now we are back where we are right now. That is Nvidia. And again, a big close for that name. Let's just go over to a 1-minute chart just to see where exactly we close. How much off of 1050? Yeah, so we did have that high and pull back off of 1150. Nice move to the downside there. It's hard to judge this, like $25 down for Nvidia. It's only up 81% year to date there. Adara? So
Only. Yeah, just a little bit.
we're almost halfway through.
That's crazy.
So if it has the same second half that it did first half, this is a $2,500 name.
Or a $250 name after the stock split.
At some point it will be split, and that is the June the 10th.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for reminding us right there. Adara. Okay, let's go. So that's Nvidia. Nice move to the upside today, but that was also followed with AMD. AMD got going too. Although it did pull back, AMD up 3.28%. That was a good one. Did you get that rundown done?
Oh,
we always forget
sorry.
that. I'll have
that
to
was
get
my,
back
yeah,
on that.
I will do it right now.
Okay, let's do that. We'll get that going. There isn't too many earnings out, so if you are joining us, watch out for that one. There's Cava right now trying to get going, 83 and change. We can watch out for GameStop today, as that's up to 23 and change right now. Good move, but a little bit of a pullback into the close. We're able to cover some of that. We will talk more about it. But what sectors are moving around today, you may ask? Well, if you didn't, I'm going to go over them anyways. We talked about silver. Michael Noss called this gold's crazy cousin, and yeah, that might be exactly what it is, because it is off to the races today, up 6% or 5.5%. You don't get gold moving like that too often. There goes silver. Nice little upside move today for that one. OPEC out with news. USO, United States Oil Fund, bouncing off the 50-period moving average down at 74, and now, sorry, the 200 period, now going back up to the 50 period, and looking half decent there at 78 in change now for USO, also OIH. I love copper. I mean, if that continues to work out again, just great sort of transmission there. A lot of solar using copper. Of course, a lot of the EV space as well, getting through on copper. So that's COPX right now, the miners ETF, a nice move back up to the upside there. Gold, 2.38%, starting to go a little bit. Nice move there for gold as we get a flight to safety, as we can watch the US dollar. I know Mike likes talking dollar, so maybe we could do that with him. Cannabis today. Oh man, I don't know what strain this is on, but it's definitely on a sleepy one right there. Down to $8. What's up, my guy?
You wanted to see cannabis.
You wanted to see that cannabis play? Yeah, MSOS down to $8. We said stay away from this. I've seen so much sort of destruction in many names, you know, including CGC, like names that I hold as well. CGC, if we flip this over, look what it's down. Actually, sorry, up year to date, 68%. So depending on where you got it, $5 up to $8. Look, that was $5 all the way to 14. So these cannabis names continue to be good trades, but you have to be specific with when you're getting in on them. Wait for a time to get into some of these cannabis plays. And I think we're getting close to that. Did DJT do anything right now? So after hours, or I guess just before we close, this is called Trump Media and Technology Group, all the way up to $50, trying to go higher here. DJT, again, another nice name year to date, up 24%, but struggling right now. We have that closing cases. So I don't know if it was closing remarks, don't know exactly what went down there, but right now, nice move for DJT, trying to get breaking through $55. So something to look at right there. Bank names, again, S&P 500 in a little bit of trouble today. So the XLF pulling back in here, down to $41. Look, what goes up must come down. But for right now, XLF, I would buy any weakness. And we'll see. As we know, rate cuts are coming. Banks are better in the environment we're in right now. Rate cuts, going to have to reshuffle their net interest margin. I could see bank stocks coming a little bit lower. But I love JP Morgan, if I was going to take one, of course, with Jamie Dimon, though. He's not buying his own stock. So I say, ayo to everybody that's here from TTG. We're not buying yet. JP Morgan. Maybe I'll talk to Mike about that as well. Box is out of Dara, but doesn't really look like it's moving much. What is going on with you right now?
I am good. We did just get the APPS earnings, which I guess are not.
Apps? Did you know Turbine came out?
Yeah, I mean, you can get your entrees, you can get your apps, but yeah, we did get APPS.
All right, what does that look like?
We got that one. So basically here I am seeing we got Q4 EPS beat. Adjusted EPS beat. So adjusted EPS 12 cents versus the estimate of 7 cents. Q4 revenue coming in lower than expected, 112.2 million versus the expectation of 117.7 million. So that is going to be a miss. We also did get EBITDA coming in as a beat for Q4, 12.3 million versus the expectation of 12 million. So that a bit higher than expected here. So EPS beat and EBITDA beat, but revenue miss here for APPS. This one continuing to fall a bit to the downside.
All right, so we talk all the time, and welcome everybody, any new viewers we have. This is what we do live on the show. You could imagine the energy that we have, and then when you get big earnings like Meta or Nvidia or something like that, we go pretty nuts right around here. But here's apps right now. Womp womp, a little bit of a fail action. Boom, there it is, slap to fail. Oh, I'm not logged into Stream Deck over here. Let's get that going right now. But you could see this after hours. Right now, down 8% is Digital Turbine, so fail. There it is. We'll put a slap of fail on that one for now. Hey, it's only down 65% year to date, as we can see this move all the way to the downside right now, down into $2. Looking to print a little bit lower now, 199 and change. We'll look out for 190 coming through on apps right now, but not much going on there. Let's just take a look again at some of the big movers that happened today. I want to look at some of the individual stocks now. We'll still wait for Cava. If Cava comes out, we will get that absolutely immediately. So get my mug off here for 1 second, because we're covering up the big boy right down here. It's Nvidia. So what was a pretty choppy day here and range bound for both. Again, it's a holiday shortened week, so we have to remember that. But we took a turn for the worse in the afternoon, starting around 2 p.m. We had some more hawkish talk, but Nvidia continued today up 7%. The market initially, good consumer confidence print there at 10 a.m., 102 versus 96. Neil Kashkari speaks all day, tries to make it to the downside. Oil prices rise more than $1 ahead of OPEC meetings. Of course, that happened, ahead of the OPEC meeting on Sunday. Right now, major tech sectors upside. Eli Lilly and Merck today. You can see J&J there. Eli Lilly still holding up for it. But you know what? So shout out to Mike, who's coming through again. This is another name that we had talked about on our show, and that was Moderna. So today, hey, yo, Mike. Good call on Moderna, pulling back down 8% right there. He highlighted it on Friday or Thursday.
Friday.
Was it Friday when he came on? And again, look, we can have great ideas with trades, Adara, but you got to exit them.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're holding all the way back in, and be disciplined with your trades. And I know that's what True Trading Group's all about, and that's what we're all about here as well. Make sure you have your ins and your outs. I mean, we had multiple trades on GameStop today, but very responsible ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need. So Moderna right now, down into 150. I think we buy this dip. Let's ask Mike when he comes on what he does think of Moderna. Any outs from Cava yet? I don't think that's coming through.
Well,
right
I have a thing with Robinhood, though. Robinhood
I see that with Robinhood. What's up with that?
So basically announcing a $1 billion share repurchase program.
Oh, yeah.
Saying they expect to execute this program over a 2 to 3 year period, starting in Q3 2024. So this program has not started yet. They're planning on starting it as of Q3 2024. $1 billion share repurchase program over the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so we are waiting for Cava, who's coming on very, very soon, hopefully, with that report. But we're going to call Mike in 1 second. I just want to bring something up to everyone's attention right now. So this is Robinhood.
Oh, we got Cava.
Right now, Robinhood is up 100% on the year. But look at where the RSI is, 86. Looks a bit extended. We do have Cava, so I'll get to that in 1 second. We talked about buying Robinhood down here when all the meme craziness had started. But right now, Robinhood upside, taking it out. We like that billion share buyback program right there. Not billion share, $1 billion buyback program. And Cava, nice little upside move, just moving 3%. But Adara, you said the numbers are out.
Oh, yeah.
So give them to us. There's Cava. Right now, Cava, come to the screen here. Cava turning downside right now. Again, this name up 300% from its lows, but now trying to give some back on Cava. Hit us up with the news, and then we're going to Mike.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers here are good. We did have a revenue beat. I'm seeing a couple different numbers for the revenue expectations, but regardless, Q1 revenue, $259 million. So some of the estimates here, I'm seeing $245 million or $235 million. Regardless, their revenue, $259 million. That is resoundingly a beat. We also did get EPS beat here, 12 cents versus the estimate of 4 cents. Some interesting comments, though, coming out from the CEO here, saying that consumers are becoming increasingly discerning about where they spend their dollars, and they're clearly choosing to do that at Cava. So a little bit of sass here in this earnings report from the Cava CEO. Also, though, saying that they do not have any planned price increases coming for the rest of the year. So interesting comments here from CAVA. I do love that little bit of sass, though, in that earnings report, saying they're clearly choosing to spend their money at Cava. I was like, okay.
So it's not an ebullient report.
Well, I guess it was, because they did have that beat. I just thought that comment was like maybe a little bit more ebullient than it needed to be, I guess. Probably. A little bit saucy.
Shout out to ebullient movies coming to AMC, of course, is what they used when they were talking about that. But I just want to say quickly, before we go to Mike, who's coming up right now, Cava's expected move was 20%. So we're not getting anywhere. Like options of what I was looking at here had a 20% expected move. So CAVA not really on the radar. But you know who is on the radar? It's Trader Talk, so let's go. Hey, yo, we got you on the big show now, Mike. We're here. It's Mike Edward from True Trading Group. Thank you so much for joining me here on the biggest and the best show that we have on Trader TV Live. So I was like, you know what? If we're going to have Brian Shannon, JC Peretz, all these crypto, everybody come on this show, I got to get Mike on here. So thank you for spending the time coming out here right now with us. It's Mike Edward. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. It's another wild day. Nvidia all-time highs. It's we got some good earnings that are coming out just now. I see you guys doing some great job covering Cava, Robinhood, a bunch of numbers that are coming through just now. So I was just listening to you guys breaking down the news for us. So yeah, awesome stuff.
You can imagine, like, it gets wild when we have like the Super Bowl of earnings. Fabian, switch it over. Or I mean, yeah, right there when we get like Meta, Microsoft, Apple, like all in the same day. You can imagine how insane that is. Hey, we're not lucky enough here, Mike, in Canada to have Cava.
You guys are missing out.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's up with that? What is the order for you there?
So I don't even know what it's called. My wife usually gets it for me.
I
She's
like
one that
that.
introduced me to it. But I gotta be honest with you guys. I love the stock.
Yep.
I love the place. It's a stock that we put in the long term portfolio in True Trading Group not too long ago,
Okay.
and it is every time I walk into this place, it's packed.
Right.
It's literally Chipotle with just Mediterranean food.
Okay.
That's why I like it, because Chipotle has already proven the business model. It's just a different type of food. And they're not all over the place. They're not nationwide yet, but they're in my area. And I got to tell you, I've never spoke to someone who doesn't like the food. It's always busy. So I like the stock. I like the company. I like it long term.
Is that something that you do? Because that's something that I do as well, is channel check. I mean, if I'm going there, like the minute my wife 15 years ago says, hey, I'm reloading the Starbucks card because every drink is $6 or $7, I'm buying the stock because I notice that these lineups are happening and I buy that stock. So good little channel check there on Cava. Looking forward to getting it around here. And Chipotle, of course, coming with that split. I mean, if we just look at... Yeah, if we come over to the screen here, look at this Chipotle stock. We had earnings right back in here, announced split all the way to 3,200. We'll wait for that to come through. But Mike, you mentioned Nvidia, and I mean, come on. What are we even supposed to do? Like, I guess this is, and take something away from Kramer here, this is, I guess, a hold, don't trade. Like, every time you get out of this thing, you think you won because you're like, aha, you know, that was good, this is probably the top, and then maybe it was for a day or two, but look at this name continuously going higher. What are you advising right now with Nvidia? Is this something that we just continue to watch? Is it getting a little top heavy? I mean, just year to date alone now, it's 81%. You can see over here, 81% year to date now, Mike. I like the name, and honestly, I'm not getting out of anything Nvidia related.
Yeah, I love the name. This has a permanent position in my long-term portfolio. Right. I am never going to not be a shareholder of this company. I really do feel for people that don't own the stock, because I get questions. I'm sure you guys get questions all the time on social media or on the channel from viewers. If I don't own it, do I buy it now? And I can't tell anyone with a straight face. If I'm not willing to buy it myself, then I'm not going to ever tell someone, yeah, it's a great time to buy it, because it feels so extended. It feels so expensive. $2.8 trillion market cap. It's this close to jumping Apple. I just can't, I can't bring myself to buy the stock up here. It's just, for me, it's a hold. It's a good trade, you know, but not a lot of people trade it. It's very expensive. The options are expensive. And a lot of people are really looking forward to that stock split. It's really going to open things up. The options will be cheaper. The shares are going to be much cheaper. So I feel like a lot more retail traders it's going to be in a lot more people's risk tolerance zone. So that's exciting for a lot of people to finally be able to trade it with a little bit more comfortability. But for me, Sean, you hit it on the head, man. It's a hold. I'm not selling it. Honestly, you could have looked at this thing $600 ago. Yeah. And at any point you could have been like, oh yeah, this is a good place to take profit. This is a good place to take profit. And yet here we are now at 1150. So it's a hold. Don't mess with it. If you believe in AI, as I do, just hold on to the damn thing. And when it drops, which it will, you'll have 20%, 30% pullbacks. People forget the stock was down 60% in 2022. Like, it will pull back at some point. Just, you got to dive in. You got to buy the stock when that happens.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think anything on a pullback there for Nvidia, but you know, it's like you never want to pull that trigger at the top. You did a great trade on Moderna. I want to talk about that in a minute. You a Starbucks guy or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I love Starbucks as well. A lot of us, Adara's giving the big pump. You know what I just started with? There you go, there, Adara, you're on the screen. Yeah, there you go, pump it up. We like the matcha. I like the matcha tea. I don't know if you've had matcha. I know, I just started drinking it. It's kind of like grassy tasting a little bit, but we're getting a lot of people around here like that. What's your order at Starbucks?
For me, it is the vanilla sweet cream cold brew.
Yes,
light cream. That's me. That's my go-to.
Because you know what I saw here? Look at this Starbucks inflation. It's on my screen right now. I don't know if you can see the show or not, but flip over. Yeah, so it's like 80, like this is how much they've increased over the last decade. 80% on a bagel? Like, I'm trying to find like normal coffees around here. 22% on a nice little latte. A cake pop? I don't know if you have kids or not, but my kids crush these things. I wish we would have gone back to 2014 pricing. Now $1.50. But pick one on here. What if I could say, hey, Mike, you could get any one of these foods. You get a bagel, a little sausage and cheddar. You get a cake pop here, a wrap, or one of these paninis. What are you going for here?
Well, for myself, I'm going with the panini. But
Yeah, okay.
my nieces love the cake pops,
Yeah, oh.
so I probably buy those more often. But I do have my first kid on the way, Sean.
What? Yes, sir. That's it. Attaboy, Mike. Yeah, we'll get the baseball going on there. You're gonna be loving that. I actually got to go at 4:30. I'm right over. So I head coach two little league teams. One's a house league team and one's a rep team. And honestly, it just makes me full, basically. Like, and awesome. I think that's going to be awesome for you. So again, congratulations and thanks for letting us know about that. That is awesome. The reason why I bring up Starbucks is not just because we talked about Cava and because I think I need a little bit of a caffeine boost.
Oh, yeah.
You've been on the air for all day here. Starbucks, a great little level. And Mike, we can screen share as well if there's anything that you wanted to share with this. But I just wanted to go over Starbucks because I consider myself like a support and resistance trader, but with companies that I like. I don't want to be going back and forth with GameStop trying to hold on to that because it gets to $20. I'll trade it as a swing, intraday, hold it for a week. But a name like Starbucks or some of these Lululemon, Ulta Beauty, there's been a couple names that have gotten absolutely destroyed lately, but are household names.
Yeah.
So I like picking some of these stocks up on weakness. Is that something that you guys look for? Again, you talked about channel checks. What are some things that'll make you pull the trigger on some of these bigger names?
I like these big brand names that have good, strong brand loyalty. The reason why you've got some of these stocks like an Ulta, a Lululemon, a Starbucks is just what I think you saw happen. Starbucks also got kind of caught up in some political stuff, which you've seen before with Disney. You saw it with Target. Starbucks got caught up in a little bit of that with the kind of boycotting Starbucks, but Starbucks isn't going anywhere. I feel like you have on Starbucks, you have this massive support level down there in the low 70s. Yep. That was the double bottom low from 2022's crash. And then you guys can see right here. So you had that little nice support level there. And you go back further to the 2020 crash, and you formed a nice little base down there in 2022 as well. So after the recent drop that you had, you found support right on that major level. I loved that support level. Yep. We actually talked about it on our YouTube channel a bunch. People were asking me about it because the stock was down so big. But the reason why this stock is down, just like Lululemon, just like Ulta, is just concerns about the consumer. And when you take a look at, is the same reason why Nike was down not too long ago. It was because, are people going to spend $200 on a pair of sneakers when they can spend $85 somewhere else? They can spend $125 on some leggings at Lululemon, or they're going to spend them somewhere else. You're going to spend $6 for a cup of coffee, or you're going to spend it somewhere else. People are thinking that these higher price consumer discretionary names, the consumer is going to start to pull back from them a little bit. You also just, I heard the breakdown from the Cava earnings where they said, hey, the consumer's pulling back, but the consumer's spending money here. And you said you like that sassiness from the CEO, which I like that also as well. But I just feel like that's why these stocks are down. And when the consumer does feel better, when the consumer does have discretionary, these are the brands that have the loyalty. I do like buying them on those reasons for weakness.
Yeah, I mean, that's exact same thing as me. I like to look to see where's the high quality names and what can we actually look to get into. Just a quick overlook here on Cava, down 6%. I mean, if you come over to the chart, it looks like it's trying to go a little bit lower right now, trying to break some of these lows. I'd buy this name a little bit on weakness. What the kind of levels I look for, 50-period moving averages, so maybe down in here into some 70. If we get something to 60, I really like that look as well. Mike, give me your opinion on Uber, because I've been nervous about this, and we've had some, again, pulling right into the 200. This is normally a good buy zone. We just talked about brand loyalty, and Uber's, I mean, Uber's like should be in the dictionary now, right? 15, 20 years ago, we didn't even talk about that. Now it's like Uber this, Uber that, Uber Eats, Uber Freight. I don't know, are you doing helicopter business yet?
Uber
I have no idea.
Yeah.
As we go right now. But Uber pulling back in. Are you worried at all about some of this robo-taxi talk? For me, I am, which is why I'm not pulling the trigger on some more positions here. Any opinion on where Uber is right now? Down quite nicely here. Basically flat, heading into their print, but not great from earnings. Uber trying to bounce off 60 if we can get that low.
Yeah, it's funny. I just every Sunday evening, well, yesterday it was Monday evening because markets were closed Monday, but every Sunday evening I do like a live stream at 8:30 at night Eastern time where I always go through like my ideas, like stocks I'm putting on the list, like what I'm looking at. And I just put Uber on the list for a potential long idea back against the 200-day moving average and the previous all-time high. I don't know if I see the robo-taxi as, I know maybe at first glance it seems like it could be a negative for Uber, but I feel like it's a technology that I think they're going to adopt.
Right.
And I don't know if it's necessarily something that is going to be so much of a competitor as I think they're going to integrate into the platform. So what I'm looking for is to see if I get a buy signal. And when I say a buy signal, I'm looking for a confirmation candle at a support level. And when we talk about support levels, thing that I always try to teach people is that support levels are not finite prices. Like you can't say, oh, support is 62, so if it gets to 61.80, it's broken. No, support and resistance levels are zones. And the more volatile the stock, the wider that range is. It's our job as traders to determine how wide that range is. But I'm looking for this low 60 support level on Uber. It was the previous all-time highs back here in 2021. We paused at it. We paused at it here at the end of 23 before eventually taking it out to make the new all-time high. Then you dropped back down into that level. And now here we are sitting against it. What I'm looking for, honestly, Sean, is like a hammer tail off of that 200-day, like maybe a gap down day and the stock finishes green and you get a candle that might look, I'll draw it out. I love drawing out the candle.
Yeah, like
you might get a
little
candle
wicks
that
at the
looks
bottom.
something like this. And that for me would be a nice little buy signal. And at that point, I would look for a little bit of a recovery. But I'm waiting, like you said, little nervousness on this pullback. There doesn't feel like there's a lot of buying pressure, but you're coming into a big support zone. I'm looking for a kind of a bottoming tail in this area to give me a little bit more upside.
Yeah, so I look for that exact same thing, and it would be awesome if we got volume with that candle as well. Like if that was on a nice print, definitely well worth looking into. Uber. So good. I'm glad we're kind of on the same page here. Look, you don't get too many stocks, Mike. I just looked. It's literally flat on the year. Like it's like 0.5% one way or the other. So you don't get too many quality names like that have pulled back and giving you everything back in the last 6 months. So well worth a look. Any other names you might want to talk about that we could review the next time you're coming on? And by the way, we're flashing at the bottom there. Everyone join you up there at True Trading Group. You do have that promotion on. So we've been flashing that. They can find you also on X, which is on board as well. So before we wrap, is there anything maybe that you want to get off your chest or any sort of idea that you want to discuss?
Yeah, I took a brand new position today on Coinbase. So I'm long Coinbase from 234 and change. And I'm already out of about 75% of the position. So I just want to be clear, full transparency. I'm only in about 25% of this, but I'm looking for a little bit more upside here on Coinbase. And one thing that I like to, when I look for setups, I like to say, okay, when I see a level on a daily chart, I get my ideas. Well, I want to be long, I want to be short. I get them from the daily chart. So when I see a level that I think is going to be support, I then look for signals intraday that confirm that level, and those are my buy signals. So for me today, and again, I talked about this when I talked about Uber last night, I talked about Coinbase last night on our YouTube channel. I'm also going live at 4:30 on our channel. If you guys want to check us out there, you can check me out on X. Also, you can check us out on YouTube. I'll be live at 4:30 on the True Trading Group YouTube channel. But this level you guys see right here, all right, used to be a beautiful support level that you had there in the beginning of April. It broke to the downside, and then it became resistance, and you have this dark blue line on my screen, which is the 50-day SMA. Okay, it's a 50-day moving average. And I said, if we get above this level, I think the stock has room, because I don't really see any structure until you get to 260. So I feel like I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, recently pushed back to 70K. If there's a breakout there, I want to watch this name. So I said to myself, I want to see if there's support against that 50-day moving average.
Right.
So that was my game plan, support against the 50-day. So when I go intraday, I'm sorry about that, my dog's going crazy. The Amazon is dropping off a package. But if we go to the intraday setup, and I break it down to a 3-minute chart for you, which is what I like to trade off of, the 3-minute. I also use 5 and 15 minutes, but the shortest time frame that I use is 3 minutes. This level that I just drew on my screen, that was the 50-day on the daily chart. It was also a nice little level for us on Friday. So when we opened up today and we dropped into it, I want you to see this nice little double bottom, kind of triple bottom type of price action. And that little hammer tail right there was my buy signal. I took the trade long right there, just above 234, and I scaled out, taking profits into the 240s and then into the close up here around 246. But I'm still long about 25% of the position. I'm going to try to see if there's a pullback into 240.
Okay.
Maybe I can reload the position with a final target in the low 260s.
All right, and then your out would be basically a break of that support that you were talking about. So playing with house money at this point. You know what, Mike? I got to let you go because you only have a couple minutes before everyone could join you live. Come over to my chart. I thought you were going to say, I actually drew this area right here thinking that Mike was going to come in and say he saw that wick right there at 230 and then blasted that to the upside, but you were already in down here. So great trade there. Mr. Mike Edward, everybody can go find you at True Trading Group. Details at the bottom. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a good time. And promise me you'll come back.
Always a pleasure, man. I love coming on the channel. Love talking it up with you guys. Two things I'll never get tired of talking about: stocks and sports. We do them both. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to do it again soon.
Hey, and pretty soon fatherhood.
Yes.
Let's
August,
go.
man.
It's
August.
Mike Edwards,
August.
Trader Talk. Ciao, ciao, ciao. See you, my guy. Oops, we did it again.
Just like Brittany.
We're not stopping. I
No.
tried to tell people that we're not stopping.
No.
We have guests coming through with great ideas, huge personalities. Thank you so much to Mike Edward for coming from True Trading Group. Again, you know, professional through and through. I love that we're talking support and resistance. Like, I feel like that is right up my alley. A lot of the signs that he was giving, we talk about 50-period moving averages all the time. I actually institute that on a 1-minute chart. How loco am I? So we use that kind of stuff over and over and over again. So a big holler and thank you to Mr. Mike Edward for coming through one more time there on our show. And maybe, hey, if he wants to invite me, I'll go over to TTG, you know what I'm saying? Right there, yeah, I'm a little busy guy, but you know. All right, so you want to talk about support and resistance, check this out as we'll just go over the sticky note real quick right now. But one trade that we had was Shopify today. What a good trade that was, breaking higher early, buying the dips, boom, there, buying it again, and out at the end of the day there. So a couple ins and outs there on Shopify, ending our day right there. Big trades that we had on board, we were looking at Tesla today as well. And for those of you watching right now, thank you so much for doing that, everybody from TTG. But what is this sticky note idea that we're talking about? Well, every day I put this out, and it is our sticky note. It's just different ideas. Apple long, we can go over that. AMD long at 166. Are you kidding me? DraftKings today, we like that short. GameStop, a couple outs on GameStop, and then the Tesla as well. So a couple different ideas. I don't know why that's still, hold on a second, Tesla.n. Oh, you know what? We might be down now on our chart server. No, there it is. So there's the long there early on Tesla once the chart loads. There it is. There's that 173 and change. We waited for that at Dara. So we get 173.50 out right there, 176. $2.50. Tried the short there, but did get stopped out when we did break through 178. So that was up and down and around. And then AMD, another name that we really nailed early, but we... Oh, that's still Tesla. Come on, AMD. But we didn't put that 166 on. I was waiting for 164. We shorted it again before it started to rip up to the upside. So a couple decent trades coming through there. But the trade of the day for me was Alibaba. And you'd think it was probably long, but it was actually the other way around. We waited for that move. Nice upside into 81 there. Give us some support and resistance from the open. Alibaba all the way to the downside as we had a pushback in the overall market. Who is FFIE out or what?
I didn't see anything.
All right, let me just double check this. $1.20. No, for everybody asking in the chat. We do not have Faraday Future out, but we'll have that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to have it in the future.
It'll be at some point in the future.
Yes, for Faraday Future.
And it won't be while we're live because we got to get out of here. So
yeah.
Thank you to everybody for watching. A big thanks to Mike Edward. A big thank you to everybody from TTG who hopped in there as well. Hey, look, it's just Tuesday. It's a shortened week. We've got a bunch more to come. And it's coming tomorrow at 8:30, so make sure you join Adara and myself. Go follow me at TraderTV Sean, at TraderTV Adara on all your socials. Thanks, Adara. That was fun.
That was
and
so
we
much
will
fun.
be seeing everybody tomorrow. Ciao.
Bye.